Chapter 277. Mother Vastra's Cur. He's too sturdy. The experts besieging Su Yan from all sides were furious. They used all their strength to attack Su Yan's body. Not to mention how sturdy Su Yan's body was. Just the starry sky armor he was wearing had extremely strong defensive power. It was difficult for them to move him in a short period of time. Even so, Su Yan still suffered internal injuries. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth, and his body was in pain. However, he managed to pull through. Fortunately, he had experienced a lot of danger in the lightning, which caused Su Yan's body to be tougher than most armor weapons. The true dragon nest itself suppressed battle strength. Otherwise, Su Yan really wouldn't have been able to withstand it. He and the young Dragon King worked together to erupt with power and fiercely pounce forward to snatch away 2 stalks of true dragon grass. Kill! The large group of experts were furious. There weren't many true dragon grass to begin with, and Su Yan had taken away 3 stalks. This provoked everyone's anger. They all angrily charged forward to snatch away the true dragon grass in Su Yan's hands. Stop fighting! Su Yan roared under the surging killing intent. I guarantee with my life that there's a great killing formation nearby. Someone is laying out a trap to kill us all. What? The group of experts that pounced towards Su Yan all opened their eyes wide. They opened their heavenly eyes and looked at the space in all directions. Sure enough, they felt something was wrong. This area was too quiet, and even the drop of a needle could be heard. After all, this was a land of fortune. So how could they not hear anything at all? Don't listen to his nonsense. Su Yan, you're the first to come. Who knows? Maybe you've already picked more than 10 stalks of true dragon grass. An old cultivator from the Shui family spoke like this to bewitch people. The surrounding creature's eyes turned red. Su Yan was indeed the first to come. It was still unknown how many stalks of true dragon grass he had picked. I'm your sister. Su Yan rushed over with a resplendent true dragon behind his back. It transformed into a gigantic dragon totem that roared and shook the mountains and rivers. The vigorous blood and qi in his body gushed out and pierced through the dragon totem. Su Yan pushed the dragon totem forward and forcefully killed the Shui family's old cultivator. He shouted angrily, "There's definitely a great killing formation in operation. Don't forget that Shui Guan and the others have joined forces to prevent us from entering." Su Yan's words were astonishing, because there were already some geniuses who stood still and sensed that something was off. Get out here. The Lee's diamond ape also dug up a stalk of true dragon grass. It let out a berserk roar, and its arms were like 2 giant pillars that stood horizontally in the void. Moreover, they rapidly enlarged and became like 2 giant mountain peaks that swept through the surrounding space. Boom! The entire area began to tremble as energy ripples spread out. However, it didn't travel far. In the distance, the color changed. Killing intent filled the air. The void was drowned out by the white killing light. The ancient killing formation had already been activated, sealing off the heaven and earth. Boundless killing intent poured down like raging waves. Roar! A huge figure appeared in the killing light. It was as if 4 ancient beasts had awakened from the void. Monstrous, ferocious aura surged and roared, shaking the mountains and rivers. This is the 4 spirits formation. The divine son of 9 suns face darkened. This was a relatively rare ancient formation. In order to refine the 4 spirits formation, one needed the blood essence of 4 different divine beasts of different attributes. If the 4 spirits formation was set up, it would open up a peerless killing formation that could slaughter everyone. Who set up the killing formation? Get out here for Grandpa Martin. A furry white marten spoke. Its body rapidly expanded and spat out a ferocious light. It let out a shocked and angry voice. Get out here! Get out here! Just like that, billowing ripples came out of Martin Zontian's mouth. One after another, it was as if thousands of waves were rolling out. The roar shook the sky and rumbled in all directions. The space suppressed by the 4 spirits formation was trembling, and the broken lake was also shattered. Boom! The ear-splitting sound waves exploded in this part of the world. It was like the roar of a mountain flood, surging through the area. This roar shook the entire Four Spirits formation. This is too fierce. Little Dragon King was horrified. So far, there were a few geniuses from outside the domain who had no idea how strong they were. For example, Fairy Zixia and Martin Zantian were extremely mysterious. It was said that Zhu Xing had suffered a great loss at its hands last time. Fellow cultivator, please calm down. A calm voice flashed there. It contained a great divine power that could be transmitted to the depths of one's soul. Shuiguan, so it was you who did this. Martin Zantian's hair stood on end. He said in a violent tone, I've been unhappy with you for a long time. Come and fight me. Grandpa Martin really wants to see how strong you Shuiguan are. Fellow cultivator, please calm down. Shuiguan was very calm. He stood between the heavens and the earth with an awe-inspiring divine might. He looked down at the surroundings and said coldly, I only have one goal. Su Yin, come out yourself. Don't waste my time. Ha ha. Su Yin, my brother has already let you live for so long. He has already shown you mercy. Now, it's time for you to pay with your life. Shuilong walked out with a sinister smile. Kneel down and accept your punishment. Where's the worm? You're just pretending to be a dog. Give me your life. Martin Zantian was in a fit of anger. When he saw Shuilong jumping up and down, he pounced on him. He raised his snow-white claws that were about to split open the sky. Shuiguan's eyes turned cold. He didn't make a move, but a blood-colored halberd slashed out. Shuiguan sneered, Last time you got the upper hand. This time, I want to see if you can still turn the tables on me, you bastard. Loser, give me your life. Martin Zantian was furious and pounced on Zhu Xing. The atmosphere here was a little different. Many people looked at Su Yin. Shuiguan had come to settle the score and even set up a great killing formation. It was obvious that Shuiguan was determined to kill Su Yin. Shuiguan, you set up a great killing formation to trap everyone just to kill me. You sure are confident. Su Yin sneered. If they were outside, he would have turned around and left. But in a true dragon's nest, Su Yin was not afraid of Shuiguan. You're too stubborn. Shuiguan's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. Just as he was about to attack, a pure and holy woman gracefully walked over. Her clothes fluttered in the wind, and her snow-white skin was sparkling. Her eyes shone with divine light as she said softly, Dao brother, please wait. I have something to discuss with Su Yin. Sure. Shuiguan was silent for a while, then nodded. Everyone was shocked. What was going on? Saint Ziwei had already walked towards Su Yin. She was like a pure and holy fairy with an otherworldly temperament. She floated in front of Su Yin like an immortal. Saint Ziwei, what do you want? Su Yin vaguely guessed what was going on. Su Yin, you are a smart person. Saint Ziwei transmitted her voice. Shuiguan's foundation is unfathomable. In the future, he will definitely be an overlord who conquers the world. Do you think you can win if you oppose him? Saint Ziwei, you should ask Shuiguan why he wants to kill me again and again. Su Yin transmitted his voice and sneered. How come I'm opposing Shuiguan now? What a joke. Although I don't know why Shuiguan is targeting you. Saint Ziwei pondered for a while, then transmitted her voice. But I can be the middleman and help you persuade Shuiguan not to make things difficult for you. I believe that my words can still influence Shuiguan. Why do you want to help me? Su Yin asked in return. You should know. Although I don't know what your relationship with EC Yun is, Saint Ziwei transmitted her voice. But you are still EC Yun's brother. I know that Su Yin is very talented, but no matter how strong you are, you will not be in the same world as Shuiguan and EC Yun in the future. The universe is vast, far beyond your imagination. In this world of endless geniuses, those who can stand at the peak of their generation and compete for hegemony are not limited to those who have opened the 9-day Song gates. Over the years, there have been many geniuses, many of whom are more heaven-defying than you. But how many of them can truly reach the peak? These geniuses are all supremes conferred by the 10 most powerful ancient stars. Shuiguan is the future Big Dipper Supreme. I believe that EC Yun is very likely to be this generation's Supreme Ziwei. As for you, Su Yin, I do not deny your potential, but you're still a long way from conquering the world. What? Saintess, are you here to give me a blow and make me apologize to Shueguan? Su Yin smiled. Saintess Zi Wei said indifferently, no matter how you interpret it, you are E.C. Yun's brother. You should think for her. Her future path is destined to be different. Shueguan will be her ally in the future, not her enemy. Su Yin frowned. She was clearly telling Su Yin not to affect the relationship between E.C. Yun and Shueguan because of him. Are you done with what you have to say? Fairy, please go back. Su Yin snorted coldly. Su Yin, am upright and upright. You really can think of asking the Big Dipper lineage to lower our heads and apologize to Shueguan. As soon as he said that, there was an uproar everywhere. Xiao Yi and the others, who had rushed over, almost shouted. What was Su Yan's background now? Apologize to Shueguan? It was equivalent to humiliating the Big Dipper lineage. What? Nine Sun's divine son almost exploded when he heard that. F*CK. Saint Ziwei ran over to teach Su Yin a lesson. What the F*King husband and wife? Saintess Ziwei's eyes turned cold, and she did not say anything more. If it were not for E.C. Yun, she would not have bothered to say another word to Su Yin. Nine Sun's divine son. Wasn't the lesson last time enough? You dare to come again? Don't hinder me from killing. Shueguan's eyes were cold. If it were not for his identity, he would have killed him long ago. I can't stand it. Shueguan, don't be arrogant here. Nine Sun's divine son. Large suns rose behind him. He roared and rushed forward, wanting to fight Shueguan. Get out of the way. Suddenly, thunder rumbled between heaven and earth with terrifying power. It was a shadow. Wherever it passed, the force field it emitted was like a tsunami from the nine heavens, causing heaven and earth to rumble. At this moment, the nearby mountains and rocks were silently annihilated. Everything was about to shatter as the sovereign body moved. Many people were suffocating. Their faces turned pale. Who was so ferocious that they used all their strength to attack Shueguan? You're awesome, you go. Nine Sun's divine son cursed. He also knew that the person who rushed out was powerful. Just the aura that surged out from his body was not inferior to Shueguan's. The sovereign body is here. What a good opportunity. Su Yan's face suddenly turned cold. Taking advantage of the moment when the sovereign body rushed over, he disappeared into the void. Chapter 278. The sovereign body actually came. He's going to face off against Shueguan. Some people's expressions were exceptionally brilliant. The sovereign body that had disappeared for many years suddenly reappeared. This was completely unexpected. No one would have thought that Shueguan would set up the Four Spirits formation and surround the sovereign body within. Shueguan's expression also turned cold. Although he had defeated the sovereign body before, he was still the sovereign body after all. If he wanted to defeat him, he would need to spend a lot of effort. Loser. Shueguan walked like a dragon or a tiger. His head of long black hair draped over his shoulders. The power of his Dharma projection pierced through the heavens as if a deity was walking on foot. The divine might that rippled out began to sweep towards the sovereign body. The moment the two powerhouses confronted each other, the invincible might that pervaded the air collided with each other from far away. Bang! The entire Four Spirits formation was shaking. All the territories rose and fell along with it. The nearby crowd felt as if they were being crushed by a mountain. Their eyes were filled with shock. Retreat quickly. Some people roared and retreated with all their might. That was because the moment they began to collide, the energy storm that was produced was enough to overturn hundreds of li of mountains and rivers, crush the void, and destroy a territory. A battle between the pinnacle is hard to come by in 10,000 years. The surroundings were in an uproar. The sovereign body and Shueguan were already fighting each other. What exceeded everyone's expectations was that when the two powerhouses collided, their battle strength soared to the peak. They released all kinds of terrifying auras that collided together, causing the void to explode. Kill! The sovereign body roared loudly. He could be called a barbaric dragon. His essence blood surged like a vast ocean. Golden-winged pungs rose from behind him and danced between heaven and earth. They spread their wings and hacked towards Shueguan with ferocious and tyrannical might. Roar! Shueguan was considerably terrifying. A mighty and tyrannical Qilin rose from behind him. With a loud roar, the sky shattered. Hungs were shattered one after another by the Qilin's roar. The sovereign body pushed forth an unparalleled killing intent and continuously hacked over. The sky was filled with strange phenomena. Archaic, vicious beasts of various races appeared one after another. It was as if they had filled a small world with endless ferocious might. It was even to the extent that strands of the aura of an exalt were emanating from his body, and their might shook the rivers and rivers. It caused all living beings to tremble in terror, as if they'd encountered a venomous scorpion, and they were terrified and uneasy. What a sovereign physique! The rumors are true. Every sovereign physique possesses the battle prowess of their peers. For some of the geniuses from outside the domain, this was their first time encountering someone with a supreme physique. The supreme physiques of the Big Dipper constellation were truly powerful. Their foundations were unwavering, and their blood essence was like an ocean that could easily pierce through the heavens. This was a battle at the pinnacle. Two great experts were fighting each other. What surprised the crowd was that Lei Yuguang and the others had already made their move. They attacked the young Dragon King and the others, targeting the geniuses of the Big Dipper starfield. What was going on? Could it be that Shueguan is secretly working with the extraterrestrials to kill the Star Beast King and the others? Someone said that the Star Beast King and the young Dragon King were most likely the ones who conspired with Su Yin to rob the auction. Shueguan is now using this as an excuse to attack them. He's trying to sweep away the obstacles on his path to becoming an invincible being. The battle for the title of Sovereign Physique in the Big Dipper constellation must be extremely tragic. A large number of geniuses will die prematurely. The people here were discussing animatedly. In the huge space of the Four Spirits formation, the battle was fierce and divine light shot into the sky. Shuelong couldn't help but laugh. What sovereign physique? Didn't my brother suppress him once? My brother isn't even a sovereign physique, but he can still kill someone with a sovereign physique. Humph, and the young Dragon King and the others. What right do they have to be my brother's enemy? They're just a green leaf on the path to becoming an invincible being. I'm afraid they're not even qualified to serve as a foil. Shuelong sneered. And Su Yin, do you think you can escape? Where are you hiding? Trash, why don't you come out? Su Yin lay dormant in the void, his eyes looking at Shuelong. This kid is in such a hurry to force me out. It's probably because he has a protective weapon on him. Su Yin thought to himself. He knew very well that he was the #1 person in the Shui family who must be killed. Now that Shueguan had taken out the rare Four Spirits formation, he would not give up until he achieved his goal. Damn it, I can't deal with Shueguan, but I can't deal with a puny Shuelong. The divine child of 9 suns rolled his eyes and suddenly smiled treacherously. His eyes were glowing green as he stared at Shuelong. This gaze made Shuelong tremble. His face was a little abnormal. When he saw the divine child of 9 suns' eyes glowing green, he exclaimed, "Divine child of 9 suns, what are you doing? You can't deal with my brother, but you're going to attack me, a junior? Who said I can't deal with your brother?" The divine child of 9 suns was angry. "Damn it, give me a slap. You little bastard, I've been annoyed by you for a long time. Give me your life." Bam! The divine child of 9 suns rushed forward, raised his big hand, and slapped down at Shuelong. No one doubted that the divine child of 9 suns could kill Shuelong with a slap. However, if he really killed Shuelong, would the divine child of 9 suns be able to leave alive? Divine child of 9 suns, how dare you? At this moment, 2 old cultivators came out of the silver bee skin bag hanging on Shueguan's waist. Their faces were very ugly, but the aura in their bodies was very strong. Their cultivation was at the 9th heaven of the Transcendence realm. "You 2 old bastards, how dare you block my way? Get out of my way." The divine child of 9 suns was furious. The 2 elders of the Shui family almost fainted from anger. They hid in Shuelong's storage space to attract Su Yin. who knew that the divine child of 9 sons would come out at this time to deal with Shui Long. Su Yan's expression was particularly interesting. This old fellow had been squatting in Shui Guan's beast skin bag. He was definitely waiting for Su Yan to come and hunt him down. These two were old cultivators of the 9th celestial layer. Their combat power was not weak. Su Yan quietly approached Shui Long. Shui Long still looked like he was watching a show. He shouted, "You're still targeting me? Divine child of 9 sons, you can't even block one of my big brother's hands." The divine child of 9 sons was furious. He glanced at Shui Long coldly and saw a hand reaching out from behind Shui Long and slashing at the back of his head. Hum! 2 divine lights suddenly broke through the air and shone on Su Yan's body. They contained an aura that caused the void to sink and locked onto Su Yan's body. B** starred. Su Yan's expression was ugly. Saintess Ziwei had made her move. She used Ziwei Heavenly Eye to pierce through Su Yan. "Su Yan, how dare you sneak attack me?" Shui Long only felt a chill at the back of his head. When he turned his head, his expression turned ugly. He was very angry. Su Yan really did sneak attack him. If it weren't for the divine child of 9 sons, he would have caught Su Yan. Shui Long directly raised his palm and hit Su Yan, who was locked onto by Ziwei Heavenly Eye. Open. Su Yan's eyes widened. His entire body suddenly vibrated with the aura of a true dragon. The moment the rich qi and blood power circulated, the true dragon qi was pushed out and gathered into a huge dragon totem, which broke through Ziwei Heavenly Eye's blockade. Facing Shui Long's palm, Su Yan's feet shone. The law patterns formed and covered the surrounding void. Oh no! Saintess Ziwei floated over at a very fast speed. But no matter how fast she was not faster than Su Yan's shrink. Su Yan brought Shui Long with him using shrinking earth to an inch. He twisted the space and left the area. Hum! Divine light shone brightly between heaven and earth. Saintess Ziwei's bright eyes pierced through layers of the void and locked onto Su Yan's afterimage. "Su Yan, you evil creature!" The 2 elders guarding Shui Long were anxious and wanted to retreat to help Shui Long. Haha, what a good Su Yan. I'll trap them while you give Shui Long a good beating. Divine child of 9 sons unleashed his power and sealed the area. He laughed angrily and said, "2 old bastards, do you think it's that easy to retreat in front of me? Divine child of 9 sons, don't make a mistake. You have to know who Shui Long is." The 2 elders of the Shui family were extremely anxious. "I don't care who he is." Divine child of 9 sons' eyes turned red again because Saintess Ziwei had made a move to help Shui Long. Divine child of 9 sons could not stand this scene. His angry roar struck the 2 elders of the Shui family as if they were struck by lightning. They almost coughed out blood. Su Yan made a move on Shui Long. The spectators had strange expressions. How many times had this happened? Shui Long had been robbed twice by the Bao Kai, and now Su Yan had made a move to kidnap Shui Long again. "Su Yan, do you think I'm a pushover? You want to suppress me now?" In your dreams. Shui Long's aura suddenly became stronger. The power of his avatar boiled and evolved into the power of the Swan and Eye avatar. He wanted to shake the void, and at the same time he swung his fist at Su Yan. "Behave yourself." Su Yan's blood essence was dense and burning fiercely. All the pores on his body emitted the light of a true dragon. The moment the true dragon secret technique was released, a true dragon soared out from the secret door and roared. A shocking scene appeared. Shui Long's Swan and Eye avatar was shattered by the true dragon. Bam! At the same time, Su Yan's fist smashed into Shui Long, causing him to scream in pain. Shui Long's body was bent, and the bones in his fist were cracked. One of his arms was crippled, and he fell to the ground like a dead dog. "Stop!" Shui Guan's eyes widened in anger. He wanted to force the sovereign body back and kill his way out. However, the sovereign body was in a mess. He exploded with his strongest power and lifted his big foot to stomp on Shui Guan. "Su Yan, you dared to kill Shui Long? Don't blame me for being merciless." Saintess Ziwei's eyes were cold. She had already flown over. Divine light flashed in her eyes as she opened and closed them. Her snow-white skin was hazy with dazzling rain of light, making her look holy and flawless. Saintess Ziwei, you're pointing fingers at me again and again? You're asking to be taught a lesson. Su Yan's eyes were filled with cold light. His response made the expressions of the people around him change. This was the saintess of the crepe myrtle sect. She was not to be underestimated. She might even be a shocking expert. Then as long as I suppress you, I won't cause trouble for E.C. Zhao. Saintess Zi Wei rushed over. Her snow-white and delicate legs glowed, covered with dense and resplendent runes as she swung them at Su Yan. I'll let you have a taste of how strong a man is. Chapter 279. Saintess Zi Wei's snow-white legs glowed with divine light, as if they were swords. His long legs swept towards Su Yan and hit him in the chest, wanting to kick him away. Who would have thought that Su Yan would be so bold as to reach out his hand and grab Saintess Zi Wei's snow-white legs? This caused her eyes to flash with a cold light. The energy in her legs was extremely powerful. Even with the suppression of the true dragon's lair, it was enough to suppress cultivators of the same generation. Bam! Su Yan's hand slapped forward as if he was slapping a mountain. His hand was numb from the impact. Even the divine power from Saintess Zi Wei's legs suppressed Su Yan, causing his entire body to feel like it was about to shatter. Buzz! Su Yan's eyes widened. His aura was completely different. His entire body was filled with a domineering aura. Combined with the power of the cosmic armor, he was as ferocious as a true dragon. Su Yan's entire hand was burning. The flames between his fingers were blinding. Little true dragons crawled out, causing Su Yan's entire hand to look like a true dragon's claw. He grabbed Saintess Zi Wei's snow-white legs. Saintess Zi Wei was furious. Her legs glowed with a dazzling light. Her legs seemed to have turned into divine pillars. The power of her dharma was exuberant. This was a destructive attack. Su Yan's hand was about to shatter. However, in the next moment, Saintess Zi Wei felt as if she was struck by lightning. Goosebumps appeared all over her body. Su Yan's hand moved along her snow-white legs. His movements were too fast. He reached under her skirt and touched her thigh. Su Yan's heart skipped a beat. Boom! At this moment, the world rumbled. A terrifying aura rippled out. Saintess Zi Wei's eyes were filled with anger. Her snow-white body glowed with divine light, as if she had turned into a goddess of battle. Even her life spring was filled with the sound of chanting. She moved her waist, moving about like a beautiful snake, elegant and noble. As her aura climbed, it was as if an ancient deity was born within her body, powerful and world-shaking. Waves of energy surged out from her body, and even Su Yan was forced to take a few steps back. He was very shocked. Saintess Zi Wei was much stronger than the prodigies like Great Child Yao Guang. You are courting death. Saintess Zi Wei's face was cold. Her beautiful hair danced in the wind, and her body was filled with murderous intent. In an instant, she closed in on Su Yan. This was especially true for her pupils. Her purple myrtle heavenly eyes had been activated to the extreme. Her two heavenly eyes seemed to have transformed into an ancient constellation as they projected a purple heavenly light that enveloped Su Yan and suppressed him. However, Su Yan's body was becoming more and more ferocious. The giant door of divine power and his body merged into one. He circulated all of his foundation and climbed to the strongest state. His entire palm erupted with a monstrous aura. The void was disappearing, and Su Yan seemed to be strolling in the void. This was the power of earth shrinking. Su Yan's body was erratic like a banished immortal, strolling in the void. No matter how powerful Saintess Zi Wei's crepe myrtle heavenly eyes were, they could not lock onto Su Yan. Ah, Saintess Zi Wei, save me! Shuelong screamed continuously. He followed Su Yan and was suppressed by the power of the void. His entire body was mangled and was about to shatter in the void. Bastard! Shueguan roared again and again, erupting with unparalleled battle strength to attack the sovereign body. However, it was useless. The sovereign body's aura was domineering. Barefooted, he pushed the power of his blood essence to seal Shueguan. Inside the Four Spirits formation, the battle was intense. Various prodigies fought together, clashing one after another, easily destroying heaven and earth. The powerful Four Spirits formation could not seal this place for a long time. It would not be long before this place collapsed. What is that? Many people cried out in alarm. They were stunned by this wave of power, causing a chill to run down their backs. When they turned their heads to look into the distance, they saw a blurry and enormous figure. It was like an ancient constellation that towered in the sky. Constellation Dharma Idol. Some prodigies from outside the realm were moved. This was Saintess Ziwei's power. The power of the constellation rose behind her, as if the master of the constellation had descended into the world. A large hand reached out, wanting to shake the stars in the outer realm. Saintess Ziwei, what an amazing battle strength! This was Crepe Myrtle's peak Dharma Idol, the constellation Dharma Idol. Rumor has it that once cultivated the Dharma Idol, one's magical power would overflow the heavens, and their divine abilities would shock the world. It was rare to find an opponent in the same realm. The void released loud noises and trembled. This constellation hand seemed to be able to suppress this area, and the aura it released was extremely powerful. It was as if an ancient sea of stars was descending and began to suppress Su Yan. Even Earth's shrinking was affected, and he could not continue to dodge. You forced me to do this. I didn't want to make things difficult for you, but since you won't listen to reason or force, I have no choice but to send you on your way. Saintess Ziwei's expression was cold. Her clothes danced in the wind, and her aura was oppressive. The huge constellation shadow behind her was like the birth of an ancient deity. It stretched out a palm, covering the void and curling up with a shocking aura. What a troublemaker! Su Yan roared. His hair flew in anger, and the thick essence blood in his precious body surged. A grand chanting of sutras erupted, and his battle strength rose madly. One after another, resplendent stars flashed out from his flesh shell. The Big Dipper fist erupted, and Su Yan withstood the monstrous pressure. Stars flew out from the secret door one after another and arranged themselves, making him look like a Big Dipper war god. A super powerful collision. The Big Dipper fist and the constellation hand collided, causing a great tremor. The constellation hand was twisting, and it could not seal the power of the Big Dipper fist. This was the Crepe Myrtle sect's secret art. But was this all there was to it? This twisting hand shone again, and the ancient aura of the Sea of Stars was released. Layers and layers of immemorial constellation force emerged, filling the void, and evolved into all kinds of unimaginable powers. This is the constellation seal. Su Yan, be careful. This is the secret art of the Crepe Myrtle sect. It originated from a simplified version of the Crepe Myrtle sect's heavenly great techniques. Wu Heng's expression changed. He knew how shocking this technique was. Saintess Ziwei was the saintess of the Crepe Myrtle sect, so it was not surprising that she knew the constellation seal. Wang. Saintess Ziwei danced in the heavenly wind, swaying gracefully. She seemed to have turned into a white tiger, and the constellation seal of the white tiger skyrocketed. She waved her hand, and her entire fist turned into a condensed constellation white tiger. It came crashing down and collided with Su Yan's Big Dipper fist. Dong, dong, dong. The sound of violent collisions rang out. Whether it was the Big Dipper fist or the constellation seal of the Crepe Myrtle sect, they were both related to the heavenly great techniques. This kind of battle attracted a lot of attention, and it might be possible to see which of the two sects was stronger. Saintess Ziwei's temperament kept changing. Sometimes she was a white tiger, sometimes a divine dragon, sometimes a vermilion bird, and sometimes a black tortoise. This was the power of the four sacred beasts, and it was evolved by the constellation force, which made Saintess Ziwei's combat strength amazing. Each of her attacks was filled with the power to suppress heaven and earth, and they came one after another to attack Su Yan. The two forces collided, shattering the sky. Vermilion bird wings grew out of Saintess Z Wei's back, and they tore through the void. Her speed skyrocketed as she closed in on Su Yin. Her body was like a white tiger, and she was filled with the destructive power of Dharma form. Oh no, Su Yan's Big Dipper fist hasn't reached the 7th move yet. Could it be that his realm? Xiao Yi, who was fighting with Han Tong, had a bad look on his face, and he felt strange. Su Yin didn't seem to have reached the Dharma form realm, because he had been using divine power and not Dharma form power. In order to master the Big Dipper fist, one must have the power of Dharma form. Although Su Yin could fight Saintess Z Wei with the help of a secret technique, Dharma form power was not ordinary power. The divine powers and secret techniques it evolved were not something a divine power's secret realm cultivator could touch. Su Yin was really angry, but no matter how much power he used, he couldn't suppress Saintess Z Wei. The gap between their realms was obvious. Saintess Z Wei was worthy of being called a proud daughter of heaven. After all, there was a big gap between their realms. Su Yin had treasures to make up for the gap, but it was difficult for him to threaten Saintess Z Wei. If they fought for a long time, Su Yin would lose without a doubt. You can't. Saintess Z Wei shook her head slightly and said, "You are indeed amazing, but the gap between you and Shui Guan is too big. I still want to ask if it's not too late to turn back now." "Wait until you suppress me," Su Yin said coldly. "Although I don't know why you keep helping Shui Guan, it must be related to the inheritance Shui Guan obtained. It seems that Shui Guan really did obtain the inheritance in Z Wei segmentum." Saintess Z Wei's eyes turned cold, and killing intent appeared in her eyes. "Then I have no choice but to help my junior sister sever her mortal ties." Her cold voice was like a tide washing over heaven and earth. It was bone-chilling. Saintess Z Wei swooped down, her snow-white body surrounded by the light of the stars. Behind her, the 4 sacred beast Dharma forms appeared. Suddenly, there was a loud sound like a landslide and a tsunami. She had the power to sweep through the entire battlefield. Saintess Z Wei is serious. Some of the prodigies were shocked. Saintess Z Wei used the power of the 4 sacred beast Dharma forms. A true dragon soared into the sky, a white tiger roared, a black tortoise opened the sea, and a vermilion bird burned the sky. The 4-star mansions lined up in the sky, filling up the void. When they crushed down, they emitted all kinds of terrifying auras. What kind of battle power was this? It covered the sky and destroyed everything. Some people seemed to see Su Yan's body exploding and being crushed by the power of the star mansions. What is Su Yan doing? He still thinks he can stop a true prodigy. Some people exclaimed when they saw Su Yan waving his fist. However, in front of Saintess Z Wei's power, Su Yan's figure seemed small. No, someone dared to hear the roars of dragons and tigers. Just as Su Yan waved his fist, the true dragon's nest shook. Roar! It was as if a ferocious dragon had escaped from its cage. A true dragon field exploded from the trembling void. The entire 4 spirits formation trembled as Su Yan waved his fist. Earth overturning seal. Su Yan roared, his eyes filled with killing intent. This punch was too domineering. When he waved his fist, a corner of the true dragon lair resonated with it. A supreme terrain rose from the ground and erupted with Su Yan. What was this? This was the terrain of the true dragon lair. Su Yan used the earth overturning seal to activate the godly power of a corner of the true dragon lair. Chapter 280. Shui Guan's pupils constricted as he recognized it. Years ago, he accidentally obtained a mysterious slate, but he couldn't figure out what kind of secret technique it was, so he sold it at an auction. The secret technique Su Yan was using now was definitely the content of the slate. Not only Shui Guan, but even Little Dragon King was stunned. It could manipulate the terrain and evolve it in the form of a divine ability. It could even use the advantage of a special territory to unleash super powerful combat strength. What kind of powerful secret technique was this? Now that Su Yan was circulating the earth overturning seal, it was extremely ferocious. Pushing forward, the primordial true dragon's aura filled the entire place, causing the void to be riddled with holes. The four sacred constellation beasts exploded one after another. Kill! Su Yin roared again and again as the true dragon drilled out of the terrain and circled around Su Yin. He was like a ferocious beast that rampaged through the world. The power he exerted made Saintess Zi Wei tremble. Bam! His domineering attitude pierced through the sky. Su Yin was unstoppable as he once again used the terrain to attack, sending Saintess Zi Wei flying. She coughed out a mouthful of blood as her aura rapidly weakened. She was stunned. The terrain triggered by the earth overturning seal contained the power of the true dragon lair, causing the Dharma power in her body to dissipate. She couldn't gather it immediately. Damn it, Su Yin, show mercy. You can't kill my woman. Nine Sun Divine Sun jumped up in anger as he charged forward, reaching out his black hand to grab Saintess Zi Wei. This scene made all the geniuses who admired Saintess Zi Wei turn green. Nine Sun Divine Sun took the opportunity to touch her and blaspheme the pure and holy fairy. Just as Nine Yang Godchild was charging towards Saintess Zi Wei, the two elders of the Shui family, who were being intercepted by Nine Yang Godchild, rushed over. They took out their killing weapons and aimed them at Su Yin to protect Shui Long. Get out of my way! Su Yin roared at the sky, his hair flying in anger. His entire physical body merged with a corner of the true dragon's nest. As he recovered, endless killing intent surged out. A true dragon emerged from the ground and roared, its roar shattering the void. Bang! Su Yin attacked in a domineering manner. He pushed forward with both hands, drawing out the power of the primordial true dragon and striking forward, shattering layers of the void. The two Shui family elders felt as if they had been struck by lightning. Their bodies were crushed by the chi of the primordial true dragon. They were in unbearable pain because they entered a special true dragon domain. There were true dragons gathered in the terrain to attack them, beating them until they cried out miserably. Their chi and blood were already weak to begin with. Now that they were struck by the earth overturning seal until their lifespans were greatly damaged, they were all going to die of old age here. Bang! Su Yin punched out, and a corner of the true dragon nest trembled. The power of the ancient true dragon gushed out and enveloped a Shui family elder. No! The Shui family elder let out a cry of fear. He struck out with everything he had, but he still couldn't break free from the pressure of the earth overturning seal. His entire mortal body shattered as he was punched into the void by Su Yin. As for the other one, Su Yin raised the sole of his foot and ruthlessly stomped down. His body became a formation, becoming one with the terrain. This was a scene that made one's liver and guts split apart. The true dragon descended into the lower realm, carrying the aura of millions of layers of primordial true dragon as it swooped down. The other Shui family elder was killed on the spot and blasted into a bloody paste. The two Shui family elders died miserably, powerfully killed by Su Yin. A gust of cold wind swept over. That sea of killing intent surged. Shui Guan's roar exploded. The ancient Qilin appeared, piercing through the heavens and shattering the void with its roar. At this moment, Shui Guan's magical force overflowed into the heavens. The Qilin propped up the boundless void, leaving everyone in the surroundings endlessly shocked. The terrain in the sky was suppressed by the Qilin. Honglong! A whip was lashed out, terrifying to the point where it was as if a stellar river was descending. This was the star striking whip's eruption. When it hacked down, it was as if a silver river was descending. Endless stellar splendor gushed out, containing the energy to split apart the stars in outer space. Even the Supreme Being body found it difficult to defend against. This was a supreme treasure. Shui Guan brandished the star-striking whip with a single arm, while his other hand produced the dragon-capturing hand to grab towards Su Yin. Ha! However, the Supreme Being body laughed loudly here. His aura was completely unsealed, and his flesh shell was burning like a heavenly furnace. That surging aura seeped out from his body, burning fiercely. A grand and imposing mountain rose behind him, filling up the heavens. This immortal didn't seem like a mountain, but rather like an immortal king that looked down on the 9 heavens and starry skies, making all creatures tremble. They all wanted to prostrate themselves in worship, because this might was too extraordinary and terrifying. Supreme being body's irregular phenomenon. Everyone in the surroundings was greatly alarmed. This enormous mountain irregular phenomenon was mysterious and terrifying. With a light shake, heaven and earth would collapse. It was also as if the divine king had reincarnated, crossing through time and space to arrive here. It was terrifying and overflowing. No matter how powerful the dragon-capturing hand was, it was still difficult to break through the supreme being body's lawful embodiment of heaven and earth power in a short period of time. He laughed and said, "Shueguan, bring out your true strength. Without the divine abilities of the heavens, do you think you can force me back?" "As you wish." An ear-splitting voice that contained a bone-piercing chill penetrated into the depths of one's bones. This was a type of unforgettable aura. Heaven and earth seemed to have disappeared, and the great Tao seemed to no longer exist. Everything seemed to have entered a state of primal chaos. This was the aura of the heavens. It was terrifying to the extreme, surging violently to the point of destroying the world. Layer after layer of powerful and unrivaled terrifying aura that could crush the great world surged out, making all of the creatures in the 4 spirits formation tremble with fear. It was like purgatory. It really is like this. A lady dressed in purple leisurely walked over with a serious expression. She had seen through it and thought to herself, "This secret technique is still going on. If news of this gets out, I'm afraid it'll cause a huge earthquake. The entire universe will become lively. I really want to dig out where Shueguan's inheritance is located. Perhaps the mother scripture that had disappeared for countless years is in the inheritance ground. What kind of secret technique is this?" Suyin discovered that heaven and earth had darkened and the great Tao no longer existed. Only Shueguan was eternal and immortal. He was like a demonic god standing tall between heaven and earth. Everyone's hearts were sobbing when an abyss of essence blood gushed out. The starry sky king beast and the others were all frightened because they discovered that when this kind of aura was released, the natural laws no longer existed. In other words, within this special domain, only the physical body could exert its power. This was simply like a powerful technique that only a Tao cultivator could use. People could clearly see that even the supreme being body found it difficult to withstand this peerless attack. The essence blood within his body boiled as he staggered back with blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. The supreme being body has been forced back. The myriad heaven's divine ability is too terrifying. The outer realm geniuses were trembling. This was the supreme being body, yet he was actually forced back by Shueguan's fist. Just what kind of domain was this myriad heaven's divine ability that he grasped? How could it evolve into such an evil power that prevented them from displaying their combat strength? Why is it that when his divine ability is activated, it causes the beginning scripture to boil? Suyin muttered in his heart. He guessed that Shueguan's inheritance might be related to the beginning scripture. Could it be the beginning scripture's divine ability? He had only obtained a scripture and not any divine ability. However, Shueguan's physique domain divine ability was very likely related to the beginning scripture. "Kill!" Shueguan roared. He was like a heavenly dragon soaring through the sky. His palms formed fist seals, and the moment he struck down, the void trembled and collapsed layer by layer. An endless aura of destruction engulfed Su Yin and was about to sweep down the moon from the outer realm. Earth overturning seal. Su Yin's entire body glowed with golden brilliance. The grade 4 origin brush floating in his sea of consciousness had awakened and sprinkled down boundless golden divine splendor. Origin brush. Zhu Xing's eyes turned red. This was a supreme treasure, a Genesis brush bred from the Genesis brush seed. Its price was as high as the sky. Su Yin actually possessed such an immortal treasure. No wonder his mastery of the occult sect was unfathomable. The entire Four Spirits formation area was affected by the aura released by the origin brush. Su Yan's hair fluttered in the wind. His chi and the earth merged, and his entire body became blurry. This was because he had merged with a corner of the true dragon nest and erupted with his most powerful attack. Rumble. Under everyone's shocked gazes, the chi of the primordial true dragon drilled out one after another and transformed into the shape of a dragon. Thousands of true dragons lined up in the sky and blocked in front of Su Yan. However, Shueguan's fist was like a hot knife through butter. It was brave and invincible. This was the complete heavenly secret technique. It was so violent that it could pierce through the vault of heaven. The domain that filled the sky was blasted apart, and a terrifying aura rippled out. The Four Spirits formation had exploded. "You're dead." Shuelong, who was being trampled under Su Yan's foot, let out a sinister roar. He could clearly see Shueguan's fist enveloping Su Yan and bombarding him with killing intent. It was a method of exterminating vitality. It was as if the millstone of the heavens was rotating here, obliterating the vitality in Su Yan's body. Puff! Su Yan's entire body trembled. The starry sky armor on his body clanged as a terrifying aura seeped into his treasured body, causing blood to spurt out from all the pores on his body. The tyrant body technique was beaten back to its original form. Su Yan's entire body was about to deform and shatter. What moved even the sovereign physique was that Su Yan had actually withstood it. This proved that his body was strong enough. He understood Shueguan's moves very well. Only with a strong enough body could he withstand them. What a powerful heavenly secret technique. Su Yan couldn't help but be astonished. This divine ability was truly heaven-defying. When he was facing off against Shueguan just now, only his physical body could display battle strength. Of course, Shueguan could only display the strength of his physical body. However, this was enough to prove that Shueguan's body was extremely terrifying. What he had obtained was a heavenly secret technique in the physical domain. Swoosh! He didn't die in one strike. Shueguan rushed over and wanted to kill Su Yan. This fist came, but Su Yan disappeared because the Four Spirits formation had shattered. He rushed out and rushed into the depths of the true dragon nest. "Hand over your life." Shueguan brandished the star-striking whip and lashed it furiously at Su Yan. This whip was like a river of stars and contained unparalleled power. It tore through layers of the void and chased after Su Yan. "You'd better take care of my son, Tianlong." A cold voice came from the void, resounding in the shattered area of the Four Spirits formation. Shueguan's expression changed slightly. He turned his head and saw Shuelong howling in pain. "Save me. Save me." He let out a mournful cry. After Su Yan left, the area where Shuelong was overflowing with formation marks, drawing out the power of the true dragon nest. Shuelong howled miserably as his entire body collapsed. Chapter 281. I wonder what's going on inside. The Shui family head's expression was cold as he said, "I suddenly have a bad premonition. It's a pity that Starry Sky Corner can't see through the images of the true dragon's lair. Otherwise, we would be able to obtain the information immediately." "Haha, Shui family head. Are you worried that Shueguan won't get enough good fortune?" Han Jin couldn't help but laugh and scold. "No matter what, you have to leave some good fortune for our Big Dipper lineage, especially for Su Yan. Shui family head, am I right?" Hearing this, the Shui family head's expression turned cold as he laughed. "I'm surprised that Su Yan actually has the guts to enter the true dragon's lair. Young people are really hot-blooded. It's understandable that he hasn't experienced any setbacks before." The surrounding atmosphere turned cold. Everyone could understand the meaning behind the Shui family head's words. The Shui family had suffered too much in Su Yan's hands. They could only watch as a small cultivator showed signs of rising up. The Shui family really wanted to get rid of Su Yan. "If my Big Dipper lineage's heaven's pride is harmed, I will hold you responsible." Strands of suffocating energy waves suddenly exploded. The world in the distance trembled and the mountains shook. Even the giant mountain ranges shook along with it. The huge mountain forest undulated like waves. It was as if a giant dragon was awakening. The energy waves rushed out and swept across the endless mountains and rivers, intimidating everyone. Who? The Schweff family head's expression turned ugly. Hanjin turned his head and looked into the distance with an abnormal expression. It was an old cultivator with a head full of silver hair. Although he looked ordinary, his bronze skin emitted a terrifying aura like that of a barbaric dragon. It made the old experts nearby feel as if they had encountered a snake or a scorpion. Even the Schweff family head was trembling in fear. Grand Elder, Xiao Wen and the others were pleasantly surprised. They laughed loudly and hurriedly went up to greet him. Big Dipper lineage's Grand Elder. Kong Ao smiled and walked over. Dao Brother Star Element, how have you been? Kong Ao, you old thing, you're already so old. How can you still be in the mood to come out and exercise? Star Element walked over step by step, his entire body emanating the fluctuations of time. He was a renowned overlord of the Big Dipper constellation and had always been in seclusion in the Big Dipper constellation. If it wasn't for his support of Bamboo Moon back then, it would have been very difficult for Bamboo Moon to ascend to the position of Star Lord. Star Element's arrival made some old cultivators feel suffocated, whether it was the head of the Schweff family, Xiao Wen, or the many old cultivators gathered here. Although they had touched the Great Tao, they hadn't comprehended it. Only those who had comprehended the Great Tao could be considered the overlords of this universe. Even in the most prosperous ancient star with the strongest life forms, they could be called the overlords of this universe. This Hanjin, Star Element, Kong Ao, and the clan heads of the various aristocratic families were all experts who had comprehended the Great Tao. There was a saying in the cultivation world, everything under the Great Tao was an ant. Experts who had comprehended the Great Tao were too terrifying. They could easily destroy the heavens and earth. They could even traverse the universe and cross the constellation with their own strength. Hanjin, I heard that you got a king herb. Star Element's eyes looked at him again and said coldly, I also heard that you want to compete for the position of Star Lord. You're really old but vigorous. You still want to compete with a bunch of youngsters. Young Star Lord is too young. Sometimes this old man needs to take charge of the situation. As for competing for the position of Star Lord, this old man doesn't have the time for that. Hanjin's face was gloomy. He and Star Element had always been at odds. Their battle prowess was on par, and they often fought when they were young. Hall Master Yao Guang and the others didn't say anything. Star Element had risen to power a long time ago. When he had comprehended the Great Tao, Hall Master Yao Guang and the others were still small cultivators. That's good. I heard that the internal strife in the clan is very serious. It's fine if it's the younger generation, but why are the older generation joining in as well? Aren't they afraid of being laughed at by outsiders? Star Element came here and sat down on a rock. His words made Hall Master Yao Guang and the others' faces become gloomy. Star Element had been in seclusion for hundreds of years. Why did he suddenly come out? Could it be because of Bamboo Moon? Or was it because of the Big Dipper Heaven's pride? And your Schweff family. Have you forgotten who fought for the Big Dipper constellation? A dignified voice reverberated, exploding like thunder. The Schweff family elders had gloomy expressions. The Schweff family head's eyes were red as he said, Star Element, the Big Dipper Heaven's pride caused the death of our clan's overlord. Why don't you ask him what kind of trouble he caused? Why do you want to interfere in the younger generation's battle? I heard that a group of elders from your clan were also killed by my Big Dipper Heaven's pride. Star Element's words made the Schweff family head's face turn green with anger. He angrily said, I won't say anything if Shui Guan kills Su Yan. At that time, I hope that you, Star Element, won't interfere. Is that so? Is my son, Guanjuan, that strong? Star Element sneered. His words were like the ringing of a golden bell, shaking the blood of the surrounding cultivators. They all turned pale. This Star Element had been in seclusion for hundreds of years. His cultivation had become more and more unfathomable. Xiao Wen and the others were overjoyed. Now that Star Element had come out of seclusion, he could suppress Yao Guang Home Master and the others. He could even buy some precious time for Bamboo Moon. If Bamboo Moon could really stand up again, the Big Dipper constellation situation would be settled. Great Elder, do you know the current situation of the Star Lord? Xiao Wan and the others walked over and asked. Also, do you know Su Yan's background? Hearing this, the Great Elder's expression became serious. He replied, I'm not sure yet. However, this Su Yan's background seemed a little terrifying. What? Xiao Wan and the others gasped. Even the Great Elder had such an expression. What was Su Yan's background? I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse for our Big Dipper constellation. The Great Elder muttered in his heart. He recalled something. 100 years ago, the Star Tomb had been forcefully opened. Too many things had happened that day. A large number of experts had rushed over from the Ancestral Hall, determined to exterminate the remnants of the burial region's bloodline. The Great Elder had personally seen the expert who had killed the Shui family's important figure in Yaoguang City. After his investigation, he discovered that this expert had appeared when the Star Tomb was opened over 100 years ago. Since this person's relationship with Su Yan was no small matter, then it could be understood that Su Yan was very likely a rising star of the burial region. The burial region is a power that once caused the entire universe to tremble. It is rumored that the 9 great immortal mountains are the 9 supreme treasures that they control. Even though their clan is tyrannical to such a degree, they still can't prevent their fate of decline. AI, isn't our Big Dipper constellation the same? As the saying goes, the peak of prosperity leads to decline. The Big Dipper constellation has sunk here, and who knows when it will reappear in the world. The Great Elder whispered in his heart. Some things happened too long ago, and it was difficult to trace back to what had happened in the Desolate Era. After all, it had been over 1,000,000 years. It was rumored that the burial region had unified the vast universe. Who could do this? Right now, even the most terrifying powers in the universe couldn't control the universe. The burial region had already gradually withered away, and only a few ruined soldiers remained. However, the Great Elder couldn't understand. Could it be that the burial region's inheritance was still continuing? What role did Su Yan play in this? Could it be that he was a descendant raised by some old fellows in the burial region? Could it be that the burial region wants to compete with the young supreme beings of the various great star domains for good luck? The Great Elder pondered. He shook his head. This was too difficult. The burial region was no longer the burial region of the past. The current situation of the universe was too terrifying. The great ancient life stars had developed unrivaled foundations, and the young supreme beings were all powerful and prosperous. Each generation was more terrifying than the last. The Great Elder sighed. Even if the Big Dipper constellation were to reappear, it would be difficult for the Big Dipper constellation to accumulate a peerless foundation in a short period of time. Shuelong has been killed. At this time, the true dragon lair was in an uproar. Those who saw this scene were stupefied. Shuelong's body exploded. Crushed to pieces by the terrain, Su Yan drew out. Murderous light poured down like water. The enormous true dragon lair rumbled, pushed open by layers of essence blood. They were like true dragons and immortal phoenixes. For a moment, dragons and phoenixes danced about, murderous light densely covering the true dragon lair. Shueguan was furious to the extreme. He released a great roar that split heaven and earth. The sound waves from his roar were like a vast sea as they swept over, wanting to strangle Su Yan in the void. However, Su Yan had long anticipated this. His speed was exceptionally fast as he continuously crossed the void, using the earth shrinking to inches technique to fly in the direction of the dragon totem sound. Su Yan, you kill my clan's heavenly dragon. Some of the Shui family cultivators here couldn't bear it, releasing heart-tearing and lung-splitting cries. Shuelong's potential was extremely great. Shui Jingyan had been killed by Su Yan, and now Shuelong had died as well. Crazy. The people of the Shui family have all gone crazy. Su Yan is too fierce. He beat Shuelong until not even his bones remained. How can this matter be settled peacefully? This is the end of a fight to the death. Can he escape the true dragon lair? I don't know. Perhaps Su Yin was pushed too hard. From Brilliant City until now, it's really a miracle that he's still alive. There was a lot of discussion here. Shueguan's fury had the power to burn mountains and boil seas. If not for the true dragon lair being abnormally sturdy, this place might have already collapsed. The power of the Dharma idol filled the sky, gushing out with a domineering aura. Shueguan pushed the power of the Dharma idol into the sky, wanting to keep Su Yin here. However, under the state of ground shrinking, Su Yin quickly headed towards the direction of the dragon totem. His aura was somewhat weak. Just now, he had exhausted too much energy. He was also injured by Shueguan's heavenly secret technique. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, his expression calm. He had a rush over. Su Yin, hand over your life. The killing light behind him was like a waterfall, causing the void to tremble and spread far away. There was also a vast essence spirit aura that flew over through the void to stop Su Yin. I have to break through to the Dharma characteristic realm. Su Yin's eyes narrowed. The essence spirit in his forehead recited the Sutra of the Future and took out a string of Buddhist beads to guard his sea of consciousness. Although his essence spirit had yet to step into the void reversion realm, with the help of a Buddhist secret treasure, it was difficult for Shueguan's essence spirit to hurt Su Yin. Furthermore, the deeper they went, the more shocking the pressure of the true dragon lair was. There seemed to be living true dragons hibernating in the void. All the cultivators who rushed in were suppressed by a strong force. However, there were also people who were suspicious. Why didn't they encounter any treasures along the way? Some people were angry at the thought of the true dragon grass. No one had gained as much as Su Yin in this true dragon lair. What's that? Just as Su Yin was crossing rapidly, he was shocked. At the end of the lair, there was a black river that surged with waves and emitted a cold aura. Even the river water was black. When Su Yin approached the black river, the blood essence in his body showed signs of being frozen. It was too cold. Su Yin's blood essence was extremely vigorous. Bam! He did not stop and jumped into the black river. He could not help but shudder. The temperature inside was even colder. He instantly closed all the pores on his body. Chapter 282. So cold. Su Yin shivered. The vigorous qi and blood in his body were about to be extinguished. He quickly swam down. According to the guidance of the dragon totem, there were definitely treasures hidden in the black river. I can't see the way. Su Yin frowned. His vision was severely affected. He could only see a few dozen zhang around him. Even his primordial spirit's energy could not penetrate the black river water. There was a mysterious energy hidden in the river water. Bang, bang, bang. The people chasing Su Yin also jumped into the black river. However, some people screamed miserably. Some did not even have time to struggle before they were frozen to death. Look, the river water is too cold. The people who were about to jump down were terrified. They saw some of the frozen people turn into ice sculptures one after another, floating on the surface of the river. However, these ice sculptures quickly melted and merged with the black river, becoming a part of it. They trembled. What kind of river was this? How could it be so evil? It could devour people's lives. Extreme Yin River. At this moment, Saintess Zi Wei's solemn voice sounded. As the Saintess of Zi Wei sect, her expression was very serious. She did not expect an extreme Yin River to appear here. Rivers like this were too rare. What kind of river is this? Someone asked. It was the first time they heard of such an evil river. It could devour people's lives. Only the powerful Ingjia could survive in the extreme Yin River. I don't know what it is exactly, but it is recorded in ancient books that the extreme Yin River has life. As for this river, it is relatively weak. Rumor has it that some extreme Yin rivers can even freeze a generation of heroes to death. Once you encounter this kind of extreme Yin River, you should immediately retreat if you can. It is a place of great danger. The surrounding people were speechless. Place of great danger? Was this extreme Yin River so evil? After saying this, Saintess Zi Wei directly swam inside. She remembered something. The extreme Een River could be refined into a supreme treasure. In the future, it could turn into a vast black ocean and shock powerful enemies to death. Although the experts of her sect had told her to immediately retreat if she encountered an extreme Een River, she felt that this extreme Een River was not strong enough to trap her. Damn it, wet body temptation, wait for me. The Nine Sons' divine son chased after her impatiently. Saint Isoué, who had just entered the extreme Een River, was so angry that her face turned green. Some of the geniuses had also entered, which made some of the more powerful ones grit their teeth. After all, this was a true dragon's lair. Perhaps the silver dragon's treasures were hidden within the extreme Een River. Now that the exploration of the true dragon nest had come to an end, it meant that the creation was over. Only the extreme Een River was left, and there might be treasures. A large number of cultivators jumped into the extreme Een River. There were also people who were watching. Some of the prodigies with great backgrounds had solemn expressions. Just like Saint Isoué, they had been warned by their sect elders. It was rumored that even the divine king would not recklessly come into contact with some of the extreme Een Rivers. Fairy Xixia came here with a grin on her face. Her big eyes rolled around as she surveyed the extreme Een River for a while. Suddenly, her expression changed. She couldn't make up her mind. Could the legend be true? Fairy Xixia's expression was solemn. She didn't dare to make any wild guesses. She gritted her teeth and jumped into the extreme Een River. It's too cold. Su Yin was the first to jump in. After swimming in the extreme Een River for a while, he was shivering. The river water was bone-chillingly cold. It was like a river formed by melting 10,000-year-old mysterious ice. The further down he went, the lower the temperature. Su Yin's body glowed. Golden clouds surrounded his body, causing the vigorous qi and blood in his body to boil. The initial sutra circulated in his body, causing Su Yan's blood essence fire to surge in his body, easing his frozen body. He followed the dragon totem's senses to search for treasures. He found that the dragon totem's guidance kept flashing and changing directions. This made Su Yan's expression change. He thought to himself, there are many treasures hidden in the water. Could there be a dragon palace below? Su Yan quickly dove down. If he entered a frozen river, Su Yan felt that his skin was frostbitten. If this goes on, I might freeze to death. How deep is this river? Su Yan muttered in his heart. Although the extreme Een River affected his vision, Su Yan could vaguely feel that the extreme Een River was widening like a vast ocean. Damn, it's so cold. Su Yan swam for a while. The temperature dropped sharply. It was full of extreme Een aura. It was like a natural extreme Een furnace, full of terrifying fluctuations. Su Yan's body stiffened. The qi and blood in his body were drying up. His skin and flesh seemed to be decomposing from a cold. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. This was too fierce. The black water contained a terrifying corrosive power. Even his strong body couldn't withstand it. Su Yan had the intention to retreat. God knows where this place was. If he really froze to death, it wouldn't be worth it. It was also at this time that he sensed life auras surging in the sky. His expression changed. It must be Xue Guan and the others who came down. They were close to Su Yan. Su Yan could only grit his teeth and dive down. There were many cultivators searching for treasures in the extreme Een River. A group of people died on the way. Especially when they arrived at the area where Su Yan was, some of the geniuses found it difficult to withstand and almost froze to death. Treasure, treasure, I'm coming. Su Yan swam with all his might. The extreme Een River was too big. It was easy to get lost. Su Yan swam with a goal in mind. Finally, he found the first treasure guided by the dragon totem. However, the appearance of this treasure left Su Yan tongue-tied. He quietly approached and held his breath. He stretched his body and swam towards his destination. Black fish. Su Yan saw a fish. It was very small, only the size of a pinky finger. Its entire body was black like a loach. The black fish didn't have any scales on its body. It was smooth, and it spewed out life essence. This black fish was swallowing the black water and refining the extreme energy within. That's it. Su Yin quickly approached and raised his hand to grab the black fish. This was very likely a great tonic. Bang! The black fish fiercely swung its tail. Its body involuntarily erupted with a terrifying aura. Su Yan's hand touched the black fish's body. It was like hitting divine iron, causing his hand to go numb. Damn! Su Yan's face darkened. The black fish ran away. Its speed was too fast. Su Yan found it difficult to catch up to it. The main reason was that its strength was too great. Su Yan rushed forward. After swimming for a while, the dragon totem led Su Yan to another black fish. This black fish was slightly bigger than the one he encountered before. With the previous lesson, Su Yan carefully approached. Taking advantage of the moment when the black fish was swallowing the black water, Su Yan suddenly took out the broken cauldron and smashed it at the black fish. The black fish was smashed until its eyes rolled back, and it almost fainted. Su Yan's eyes were sharp, and his hands were fast. He grabbed the black fish and ruthlessly threw it into his spatial treasure. Su Yan grinned. Although he didn't know what a black fish was, since the dragon totem guided him, it must be a great tonic. Su Yan continued to move downwards. With the guidance of the dragon totem, Su Yan fished up one black fish after another. Their speed was about the same. Gradually, Su Yan became impatient. It had already been half a day, and he still hadn't reached his destination. He had lost a lot, and was constantly absorbing heavenly essence stones to replenish his losses. Shuiguan and the others were also like headless wasps. They were about to get lost in the extreme Yin River and had long lost track of Su Yan. "Brother, help me catch this black fish." Saintess Ziwei's nervous voice came. Her voice made Shuiguan's expression change. It was Saintess Ziwei, but when she saw a black fish, she was so excited that her whole body trembled. "What's this?" Shuiguan was stunned. He was a little surprised that a fish was so precious. Before he could do anything, the divine son of 9 sons rushed up, screaming as if he had seen his father. The corners of his mouth were about to reach his ears. "This is an extreme Yin fish." Saintess Ziwei's words surprised Shuiguan. This was a very rare species that had been extinct for countless years. Rumor had it that some families with terrifying backgrounds would use extreme Yin fish to cultivate their most outstanding disciples. This was because it was a great tonic that could nourish the internal organs and the life essence of a person. Rumor had it that the conditions for the growth of extreme Yin fish were too special. If one appeared in an auction, its price would be unimaginable even for the masters of the universe. This was because this item was so heaven-defying that it could make up for a person's congenital deficiencies. Whenever one appeared, all the superpowers would fight over it. After all, its effect was really heaven-defying. It could enhance a person's aptitude and potential. Who wouldn't be tempted? Even those with supreme bodies wouldn't think that their aptitude and potential were the most terrifying. Who wouldn't want to improve a little? Shuiguan didn't expect that such a rare species like the extreme Yin fish would appear here. It was even more priceless to the Ziwei sect because it could nourish one's body and produce extreme Yin Qi. It was even rumored that every extreme Yin fish could be refined into a wisp of extreme Yin Qi. Su Yan had already fished up more than 10 extreme Yin fishes. He didn't let go of any along the way. He knocked them all unconscious and took them away. Why are there only a dozen of such a big river? Su Yan was a little dissatisfied. He felt that this fish should be extraordinary. He muttered, "It would be good if I could encounter a school of fish. I wonder how much this black fish is worth. It shouldn't be too weak, right?" Soon, Su Yan knocked out another one. This one had a bigger head and was as thick as an arm. Su Yan spent a lot of energy and was even injured before he could suppress this big black fish. Su Yan was speechless. The strength of this black fish was astonishing. If it encountered a school of fish, it would probably be shaken to death. There's a terrifying aura. Su Yan's expression changed drastically as he sensed a prehistoric aura. He quickly swam towards his destination and soon arrived at the source. His sharp eyes looked forward. In the black river, there was a huge shadow. It was dark and full of suffocating fluctuations. When it drilled out, It was like a Kuan Pung coming out of the sea. Terrifying fluctuations emanated from its body, causing a huge crack to appear in the Black River. When it opened its mouth to suck in the water, it was like a black whale sucking in water. The surging Black River water was completely sucked in by it. When it spat it out, the substance in the black water was refined and turned into wastewater. Mother Kerr, it's the Fish King. Su Yan's eyes turned red. It was definitely the Fish King. Its body was as huge as a black mountain and was filled with terrifying extreme Shi. Only heaven knew how many years it had lived here. It was simply like a super god hiding in the river. Chapter 283. The Fish King's body was pitch black, smooth, and scaleless. Its body was as huge as a mountain, and there were priceless treasures hidden within its body. It was gushing with a dense aura of extreme that blotted out the sky. This black fish was too majestic. It was like a black moon swimming at the bottom of the Black River. When it swung its huge tail, it pushed open the river and rippled with a terrifying aura. Su Yin could feel this terrifying energy amplitude even though he was far away. It was moving, and hundreds of black fishes were following it. Bang! Bang! The Fish King swung its tail continuously. Its terrifying strength made Su Yan's hair stand on end. He felt as though he would be smacked to death by the tail. Su Yan's heart turned cold. Suppress the Fish King? That was a fool's dream. Even if dozens of geniuses worked together, they wouldn't be able to suppress the Fish King. Once it went berserk, it would definitely tear the geniuses apart. Only the experts of the universe would have any hope of suppressing the Fish King. Su Yin followed the Fish King forward and realized that when the Fish King swam downwards, the river water that had been shaken apart needed some time to heal. This was a good way to conserve energy. Just like that, Su Yin followed it all the way. He didn't know how far he had run. In short, the space opened up by the Fish King was filled with cold air. It made Su Yin feel as though he had fallen into an ice cave. It was too cold. Su Yin felt that he would freeze to death if he stayed here for too long. When the Fish King reached a certain depth, Su Yan's expression changed. The surroundings were filled with a terrifying aura. It was as though a black ocean was roaring and spewing out dense, extreme aura. Su Yin felt as though he was about to shatter into pieces. Not good. Just as Su Yin was chasing the Fish King, it suddenly accelerated and disappeared without a trace. The black water that had opened up drowned Su Yin, causing him to cry out in pain. He was shivering from the cold, and his body was about to shatter into pieces like an ice sculpture. I'm freezing to death. Su Yin was shivering all over. He circulated the Inception Sutra, causing the blood and qi in his body to boil and alleviate the cold air. He crazily swam through the water. He felt that he would freeze to death if he stayed here for half a day. If he were to swim through the universe, he would slowly die due to the lack of energy. Su Yin swam with all his might. As he swam, he was about to lose consciousness. It was too cold, so cold that it pierced his bones. His face was pale. Even with his physical body, he was frozen to this extent. One could imagine how dangerous this place was. It was at that moment, This was because he saw a golden glow at the end of the Black River. It was sacred and solemn, like the dojo of a true dragon. It gave Su Yin a warm feeling. Su Yin let out a low roar and swam over ferociously. Using almost all of his strength, he dove into the golden river. The moment he arrived, Su Yin felt as if he had fallen into a divine furnace. He was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. It was too hot, so hot that he wanted to disintegrate and explode. Why did they look like two large ovens? The process of going from cold to a furnace was too unbearable. Su Yin's body felt like it was on fire. His body was shockingly hot. If it weren't for Su Yin withstanding the lightning, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the heat. His body would have shattered. Su Yin's body was red, as if it was dyed in blood. Su Yin was in unbearable pain with every breath. He could faintly feel his body melting. It was as if he had run into the sun and spat out flames from his mouth. Death was approaching. What should I do? Su Yin quivered, following which his pupils shrunk slightly as he hurriedly took out a black fish from his space treasure. The black fish was filled with an astonishing cold air. It reduced the heat in the area. Su Yan's situation improved a little. I'll just have to treat a dead horse like a living one. I've already run so far. It's a pity to go back now. He opened his mouth ferociously and gnawed on the black fish. He wanted to use the cold air within the black fish to dissolve the heat in his body. Su Yan's teeth almost broke. The black fish was too tough, but he still managed to bite off a chunk of its flesh. However, the flesh changed color and melted in his mouth. It turned into wisps of black energy and sprinkled into Su Yan's body. At this moment, Su Yan's flesh shell glowed as if it had received a super strong nourishment. His internal organs were roaring and his bones were moving rhythmically. His entire body was bright and blazing, as if a small sun was shining. Su Yan was astonished. What kind of treasure was this? How could it have such terrifying effects? He chewed on the black fish and swallowed it down. Su Yan's entire body was several times more resplendent. He could clearly feel the divine power contained in the black fish enveloping Su Yan's body. It even contained a rare essence that gathered in his divine treasures. At once, Su Yan's body rumbled. His essence blood surged. His depleted divine power soared to its peak state. In fact, under the nourishment of the black fish's divine power, Su Yan's body actually became stronger. His originally overwhelming divine power actually rose by a portion. Heavens, what kind of treasure is this? My body's potential can actually continue to be excavated. Could it be that the overwhelming divine power that Fairy Z Wei mentioned has not reached its limit yet? Su Yan was tongue-tied. The value of lightning grass and black fish could not be compared. Su Yan held the black fish and ate another one. If the old antiques of super forces saw this scene, they might spit out blood from anger. This was a rare treasure that could make up for the innate deficiencies of the human body. It was truly a waste to use it for cultivation. Su Yan did not care. He ate the second black fish. The situation was not as good as the first one. However, his body's immortal treasures were also strengthened. He even faintly discovered that some of the deficiencies in his physique were also mended. Could it be because my physique was mended? As a result, the potential of the divine ability realm can be unleashed again? If that is the case, wouldn't I have suffered a huge loss? My physique is not so simple to be mended. No, although that is the case, no one can excavate all the divine treasures of the body at a lower cultivation realm. But my potential in the divine ability, secluded realms, can still be strengthened. I need to make good use of the black fish. The stronger the divine ability, secluded realms, the stronger my avatar will be in the future. Su Yan grinned. He was very excited. He thought for a while before thinking. Let's see what treasures are in this golden river. Maybe there are some great supplements inside. The dragon totem was already guiding Su Yan. He quickly swam towards his destination. The golden river was like lava. The temperature was blazing. It was like a huge sun shining here. Those with weak bodies would not be able to cross it because they would be burned to death inside. Golden fish? Su Yan was pleasantly surprised. The dragon totem was guiding him to a golden fish. It was filled with extreme yang qi and was surrounded by vigorous blood essence energy. Without a doubt, it was a great supplement. It could replenish one's blood essence and strengthen one's flesh shell. Su Yan did the same. He carried the cauldron and smashed it. The yang fish became dizzy and rolled its eyes. This young fish has the same effect as the black fish. Let's knock them out and take them away. Su Yan scooped up the young fish and began to search for traces of young fish. He was ready to capture all the young fish and take them away. As for the extreme Een River, a single extreme Een fish that escaped the net caused many geniuses to fight for it. They were almost fighting with their lives on the line. Everyone knew that this fish could make up for a part of one's innate deficiency, allowing one's body to leap into an extremely high realm. This fish was too precious. Even the big shots were envious of it. After all, this was a rare item that could nurture young supremes. However, some people felt that something was wrong. The extreme Een River was so big. Why was there only one extreme Een fish? Since such a creature appeared, there must be other extreme Een fish. A large group of cultivators began to search for the extreme Een fish despite the cold. Su Yan was happily searching for the yang fish. He had already caught 5. The process was also very difficult. Su Yan ate another black fish and even a goldfish. In the end, he came to a shocking conclusion. The Een and yang fishes had been swallowed at the same time. Su Yan's body was terrifying. The primordial energy he could dig out increased by a large margin. Su Yan's body was filled with terrifying energy, especially the divine energy in his body. It continued to climb, as if it could pierce through the heavens and reach an unparalleled level. Een and yang fused into one furnace. Su Yan's body was powerful. It was like an yin-yang furnace. It was just as the Origin Sutra said. One day, his body would be like the universe, reaching an indescribable height. This fish is too important to me. It can make up for my constitution. Su Yan crazily searched for the fish like a hungry wolf. He did not plan to leave a single one behind. Even if Su Yan had no use for this fish, if he sold it, it would definitely fetch a sky-high price. All the major powers would fight over the yin-yang fish. After an entire day, Su Yan knocked out more than 10 yang fish. He had to admit that this fish was too precious. This extreme yang river was so big, but he only found a dozen or so. After all, the dragon totem could guide Su Yan in his search. Too hot. Where's the end? Su Yan's mood gradually became serious. The temperature was getting higher and higher, almost melting him. He felt that it would be difficult to continue the search. If he was careless and died here, the gains would not make up for the losses. This kind of aura again. Su Yan trembled. He felt the prehistoric aura. He suddenly dived down. His eyes were immediately blinded by the piercing light. It was as if a small sun was burning in front of him. It contained terrifying essence blood. It was like a vast ocean roaring. Heavens! A golden arowana. Su Yan's heartbeat sped up. This was a big fish with resplendent golden splendor. It was like a golden arowana, gushing with vigorous yang energy. It was vast and rolling, almost turning into a small sun. It contained the energy of extreme yang and was at its peak. Su Yan's eyes were red. Regardless of whether it was the big black fish or the golden arowana, they were both heaven-defying treasures. They were rare and valuable, comparable to true dragons and immortal phoenixes. But Su Yan could not catch them at all. They were too powerful and would be killed as soon as he got close. Leave quickly, leave quickly. Su Yan wanted to chase them away. One day, when he became stronger, he would come and suppress these 2 fish kings. Just as Su Yan was observing, his expression changed because he saw the big black fish charging over with a fiendish expression. It stared with its big black eyes and led its school of fish as if it wanted to fight the big golden fish. Little ones, charge. The golden arowana spoke in human language and led the school of yang fish to charge forward. The scene in front was somewhat terrifying. One side was like a black heavenly abyss, while the other side was like a golden heavenly abyss. The 2 fish kings were like gladiators as they fiercely collided. Terrifying ripples erupted one after another and shook the great river. Boom! The 2 great rivers collided in a terrifying manner and produced boundless divine light. The moment they collided, Su Yan's mind trembled. The dragon totem was about to fly out and swallow the 2 fish kings. Taiji diagram. Su Yan saw the moment they collided. The energy field produced converged into a giant Taiji diagram. Yin and yang surrounded each other, mutually reinforcing and restraining each other. They scattered down chaotic light and created a tunnel. The dragon totem had guided Su Yan to this tunnel. No wonder I couldn't find it. It turns out I need the right time and place to open the tunnel. Chapter 284. The moment the 2 great rivers collided, the vast extreme Yin River and extreme Yang River both surged, creating a terrifying shockwave. All those who were searching for treasures in the river were about to be pulverized. Some cultivators exploded in the air, dying in the extreme Yin River. Especially on the riverbank, the spectating cultivators were trembling. Huge waves swept out from the Black River, slapping the sky and shattering the void, about to pierce through the heavens. The scene of the two great rivers colliding was truly shocking. There were cultivators who were shaken out like a school of fish, falling onto the riverbank and crying out miserably, "I think I just saw a golden river." At the bottom of the river, someone cried out in surprise. Many people saw that at the bottom of the Black River, which was directly below, there was a resplendent golden heavenly river. It was like a sun river, flowing with brilliant colors and dazzling to the eyes. Could this be a heaven-defying land of good fortune? Someone cried out in surprise. This was an extremely rare layout. The extreme Een River and extreme Yang River were arranged together, forming a special domain that seemed to be nurturing some kind of good fortune. Originally, this was a true dragon's nest, but now, the extreme Een River and extreme Yang River appeared, causing Saintess Ziwei to lose her composure. Two heavenly rivers that stand on opposite sides exist here. The opposite side should be the extreme Yang River, very likely nurturing Yang fish. Once this was said, some people's eyes turned red. Some people didn't know about Yang fish, but some did. This thing was very nutritious, different from the extreme Een fish. The extreme Een fish could make up for a person's innate deficiencies, while the extreme Yang fish could make up for a person's qi and blood. This was a super nutritious thing, comparable in value to the extreme Een fish. Moreover, the extreme Yang fish had another effect, which was to resist aging and strengthen the declining qi and blood of the older generation, prolonging their lifespan. This thing was too precious. Shuiguan's eyes turned red. This was what he needed, and it was even very suitable for his constitution. He didn't dare to have extravagant hopes of entering the land of good fortune. If he could obtain the extreme Een fish and extreme Yang fish and nourish himself, his body might become even more powerful. The Een Yang heavenly rivers have coexisted for more than 100,000 years. Is the land of good fortune still around? Could the collapse of the Big Dipper really be like the rumors related to their reincarnation? Zixia Fairy was restless. She had been searching for Su Yin, who had been the first to run inside. However, she could not find any trace of him. She suspected that Su Yin had caught a lot of Een Yang fish. If the extreme Een fish and extreme Yang fish were to be auctioned at the same time, it would definitely fetch a shocking price. It would be enough to appear at the Cosmos Business Alliance's most powerful auction. It would definitely cause all races to fight over it. That was because all young supreme beings needed this type of rare treasure to nourish their bodies. This was the terror of superpower. The extinct extreme Een fish and extreme Yang fish might still have some treasures in their clans, and they would use them to nourish their strongest disciples. No one would complain about having too many of these things. If they appeared, they would definitely bid for them and store them away. Now, the heavenly geniuses below began to band together, preparing to search for natural luck together. There were some who boldly speculated that there might be schools of fish here, and they might be able to find them. If that was the case, then they would definitely make a killing. A large number of cultivators swam towards the extreme Yang River, full of anticipation, hoping to gain something. Boom! At the moment of the Een Yang heavenly river's collision, the converging Taiji diagram opened up a tunnel, rippling with all kinds of destructive light. Su Yin charged in and was attacked. The starry sky armor on his body showed signs of shattering, as if he had charged into a passage of primal chaos. All kinds of destructive light beams struck his body. The starry sky treasure mirror was struck until it was pitch black. Cracks appeared on its surface, and it was on the verge of shattering. This made Su Yin tremble. This was a Tao divine weapon, and there was no need to say much about its sturdiness. Now, however, cracks had appeared on it. Su Yin madly charged forward, not caring about the broken starry sky treasure mirror as he rushed along the tunnel. Natural luck, here I come. Su Yin cried out loudly as he rushed to the end of the tunnel. He also fell down in exhaustion and fell to the ground. Kacha! The tough starry sky treasure mirror shattered and exploded into pieces, causing Su Yin to feel great pain. This was a Tao weapon that was worth 4 to 5,000 kilograms of heavenly essence stones. No one would feel the pain of it being destroyed just like that. Sigh. Su Yin sighed. He swung his sleeves and collected the fragments, hoping that it could be repaired. At the same time, he also noticed his surroundings. There was actually an underground palace here. The underground palace was filled with the chi of the immemorial true dragon. Su Yan's sharp senses discovered that this was the true dragon's Tao field. Su Yan scratched his head, feeling a little incredulous. If it wasn't for the fight between the Fish Kings and the collision of the Yin-Yang Sky River, it would be very difficult to open this tunnel. This layout was truly astonishing, making Su Yan a little absent-minded. Let's see what's inside first. I've gotten quite a lot of yin-yang fish, and I've already obtained the natural luck. Su Yan wandered around the underground palace. There were many dragon pillars in the underground palace, each of them like giant pillars that supported the sky. They were suffused with an ancient aura of dragons. He looked around and found that the layout of the buildings here was somewhat similar to Emperor Qin's mausoleum. However, these giant pillars weren't supreme treasures, but were cast from rare ores. He walked a distance inside and felt a chill in his heart. There was a tragic aura in front of him. There were dried bloodstains on the ground and even some severed limbs. His expression was solemn as he inspected the severed limbs on the ground. The skin and flesh were all dried up, revealing bones that flickered with a divine golden luster. Su Yan was moved. The true dragon's lair had been sealed for hundreds of thousands of years, but these bones hadn't decayed and were even flickering with such a luster. How powerful was this person? There was a great battle once. The collapse of the Big Dipper was man-made, Su Yan concluded. He walked along the way and saw many corpses. Hundreds of thousands of years had passed, but most of the corpses were still glistening. One had to admit that those who had fallen were all top-notch characters. There were even some broken weapon fragments here, but they were all tattered and didn't have much use. After walking a distance, Su Yan sensed a peerless, ominous aura spreading out. He turned pale with fright and rushed over. He saw a bone that looked like a dragon bone suffused with a peerless, ominous light. The aura it exuded made Su Yan feel as if his body was being stabbed by 10,000 swords. Su Yan was shaken. Could it be that a dragon had fallen here? Unfortunately, the dragon bone had no value at all. All that was left was the remnant ominous aura from when it was alive. Anyone who touched it would die. He continued walking. The number of corpses he encountered was relatively fewer. There were even some corpses that were relatively well preserved. It was clear just how powerful these top-notch cultivators were when they were alive. At this time, he reached the end of the underground palace. Su Yan saw a giant door. Could the land of good fortune be here? Su Yan gathered his courage and ran over. He used all his strength to push open the door, but he discovered that the stone door was very light. It was easily pushed open, but after pushing open the stone door, Su Yan felt a chill run down his back, as if he had encountered a serpent or scorpion. The stone hall's aura was cold and gloomy. It was as if he had pushed open the gates of hell. Su Yan's body stiffened. He saw a shadow in the dark stone hall. A perfectly preserved body. It hasn't decayed, even after hundreds of thousands of years. Su Yan felt a chill run down his spine. Could this be a fallen divine king? Had he died here? Even his appearance was a bit strange. There was a pitch-black chain that hung across his legs. This chain even emitted billowing black fog. This shadow sat cross-legged. He was extremely old, with old skin peeling off from his face. Even the hair on his head had fallen off. It was unknown just how many years this fallen person had been dead for. Su Yan walked over. He wanted to see if the chain around his legs could still be used. Perhaps it was an ancient artifact. He approached and grabbed at the black chain. In the next moment, all the hairs on Su Yan's body stood erect, and a chill ran down his spine. This was because this black chain was trembling on its own. It emitted a sonorous, ringing sound, as if it were a black snake that wanted to pierce through Su Yan. This weapon has a mind of its own? Su Yan was given a fright. As he drew back, he discovered that the shadow sitting in the hall had suddenly moved. How is this possible? Su Yin felt a headache coming on as he staggered back. Hundreds of thousands of years had passed. Could it be that he was still alive? When he moved, his appearance was too horrifying. The old skin on his face peeled off, revealing blackened flesh and blood. It was truly repulsive. But this was nothing. When he moved his body, his hollow eyes emitted a green light. It was cold and eerie as it shone on Su Yan's body. Su Yan felt goosebumps all over his body. The green light was very special. It was as if it could see through all of Su Yan's secrets. Kiki, his mouth also moved. His teeth all fell out, emitting black smoke. He let out a sinister laugh that reverberated in the dark and gloomy hall. The sinister and cold voice made Su Yan wish that he could immediately retreat, especially the black chain that hung across his legs. It emitted a sonorous sound, as if it was black and undulating. It was the sound of metal clashing. This person seemed to be waving the black chain to bind Su Yan. "Damn thing, you still want to kill me?" Su Yan was emboldened. In a fit of anger, he spat out a cauldron from his mouth and struck it fiercely. A mournful sound came from the dark hall. This thing that was neither human nor ghost was smashed apart by Su Yan's cauldron. To be precise, it exploded into dust. Su Yan gasped for breath. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. He wanted to leave just now, but he didn't expect to kill this monster. Did he really have a will just now? Su Yan couldn't believe it. He mustered up his courage and walked forward to pick up the black chain. The chain was simple and unadorned. It didn't have any signs of life. It looked like an ordinary chain. Su Yan didn't have time to look at it. He looked around and wondered if he should continue the search. What happened just now made Su Yan uneasy. This place was too strange. Since I'm already here, the dragon totem should be pointing me to this place. Su Yan gritted his teeth and rushed in. Time waited for no one. He opened another stone door and charged in fully armed to see if there were any more demons. However, Su Yan was shocked when he got here. The entire stone hall was dazzling and filled with the aura of yin and yang. It was like an yin-yang ancient hall that had been sealed for a long time. The ancient hall was very vast. He looked up at the sky. Above the ancient hall, the yin-yang Milky Way was arranged like a huge Taiji diagram that hung above the ancient hall. The yin-yang Milky Way was actually rotating. As they rotated, they collided and mixed. They squeezed out strands of immortal light that sprinkled down and fell into the stone hall. Su Yan followed the collision of the yin-yang Milky Way and moved his eyes. This is Chapter 285. This coffin was too similar to Su Yan's Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. Their auras were almost identical. The only difference was that the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin's coffin was blood red, while this coffin was golden. The golden coffin was surrounded by a sacred aura, as if it was a sacred object of the world. It floated above the ancient temple, bathing in immortal light. Su Yan was shocked. What kind of situation was this? First, the collision of the Milky Way and Sky River resulted in the creation here. This was the land of creation of the true dragon's lair. However, the immortal light that was born fell on the coffin as if it was nourishing it. Is there a living creature in this coffin? Su Yan's expression was uncertain. Back then, he slept in the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin for 100 years. Now that he encountered such a situation, he could not help but feel nervous. Could this coffin be related to the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin? Su Yan pondered for a moment. Then, he threw the black chain in his hand onto the coffin floating in the ancient temple. Clang! The black chain smashed onto the coffin. The heavenly coffin trembled involuntarily. It swayed as if it would fall from the sky at any moment. Seeing that there was no danger, Su Yan also jumped up and stood on the coffin. Standing on it, Su Yan's entire body was glowing. Due to the collision of the yin-yang Sky River, the immortal light that fell down sprinkled onto Su Yan's body. At this moment, his body was glowing as if he was bathing in the light of the great Tao. His body's weakness was being nourished. This was the fusion of yin and yang. The power of creation that was born poured down and penetrated Su Yan's body, causing his entire body to be resplendent to the extreme. Su Yan could not help but roar. His hair danced in the wind, and his entire body was roaring. This was the embodiment of heaven defying. His body greedily absorbed the yin-yang aura. This aura had a similar effect to the yin-yang fish. It excavated his body's divine treasures and made up for the deficiencies of his body. 1. Su Yin was like a burning furnace, blazing and rolling as he bathed in the power of the yin-yang sky river. He sat down fiercely and was incomparably excited. This was a great opportunity, and he never thought he would encounter such an opportunity. He had a premonition that if he cultivated here for a period of time, he would transform and become extremely powerful. Moreover, under the nourishment of this gas, the primordial power of his physical body began to climb. Comfortable, too comfortable. Every cell in his body was exuding joy. This kind of gas was quite heaven-defying. Strands of it converged into Su Yan's body, nourishing his damaged constitution and potential. Su Yan's physique was like a shattered ceramic. Every time a small part of it was nourished, his corporeal body's divine treasure would become a little more exuberant, and the divine power that was excavated would become a little more ferocious. It was as though he could really penetrate the heavens. Just like that, Su Yin sat cross-legged on the heavenly coffin, silently stealing the power of fortune. At the same time, his life spring began to stir. This godly energy nourished his life spring, causing it to expand continuously. As the celestial essence stone continued to burn, his life spring was filled with imminent god power. I can break through now. Su Yin was pleasantly surprised. The divine power gate formed by his life spring continued to expand, giving birth to imminent god power. As time passed, his life spring continued to expand. This was an extremely heaven-defying manifestation. From level 8 to level 9 of the divine power realm, one's imminent god power would almost double. This also caused too many resources to be exhausted. Su Yin had quite a lot of celestial essence stones on him. Piles of celestial essence stones rolled onto the heavenly coffin. He sat cross-legged on the small mountain of celestial essence stones and crazily absorbed the godly energy contained within the celestial essence stones. Su Yin wanted to cultivate to level 9 of the divine power realm in one go. By then, once his corporeal body and life spring were complete, he could use the fortune here to support his Dharma form and step into the Dharma form realm in one go. He sucked in large mouthfuls of the celestial essence chi, and even his pores were absorbing it. Su Yin didn't realize that the heavenly coffin was glowing faintly and was stealing the godly energy contained within the celestial essence stones. Just like that, half a day passed. Su Yan's corporeal body continued to strengthen. Although it was a little slow, every time he strengthened in this realm, more potential would be unearthed. As for Su Yan's life spring, it had already touched the shackles. He felt that he could break through soon. As he sucked, Su Yin was stunned. The massive amount of celestial essence dispersed. He opened his eyes and found that there was powder all over the heavenly coffin. This made his face darken. He said, "How is this possible? I took out more than 500 kilograms of celestial essence stones just now. How could it be used up in just half a day?" Su Yin scanned his surroundings suspiciously. Soon after, he was quick-witted and quickly got up. He looked at the heavenly coffin seriously and almost forgot about it. Could it be that the heavenly coffin had stolen the godly energy of his celestial essence stones? Could there really be living creatures in here? Su Yin pondered for a while and reached out his hand to lift the lid. A wisp of Dali attacked. The lid rumbled and released a golden light. This scene made him happy. The lid could be lifted, but it was different from the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. The Snow Mountain Dragon coffin required the beginning sutra to lift it. Su Yin used all his strength to lift the lid. He lifted it quite a bit. However, there seemed to be a hand holding onto the lid. Su Yin could not lift it for a while. Could there really be living things inside? Could it be those things outside that are neither human nor ghost? Su Yin took out his natal cauldron and smashed it at the lid. The coffin rumbled as though it was about to split open. Su Yin saw that there was hope. He lifted his natal cauldron to smash the lid again. However, Su Yan's expression changed. The natal cauldron was stuck to the lid. There was a suction force that sucked in the natal cauldron, preventing him from lifting it up. And what shocked him was that the natal cauldron lit up on its own. It tilted down, and a vast natal star radiance gathered in the coffin. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed. This broken coffin was absorbing the natal chi in his natal cauldron. If it continued, his supreme-grade astral physique would be completely depleted. It might even be destroyed. This was his natal treasure. Once it was destroyed, Su Yan's vitality would be greatly damaged. Stop. Su Yan's aura soared to the extreme. He was like a divine king of Dali. He waved his fist and smashed the lid of the coffin. He punched again and again. No matter how sturdy the heavenly coffin was, Su Yan's punches caused it to tremble. Kid, are you trying to disturb my meditation? The golden coffin spoke in a dignified voice. You dare attack my cave abode? Little guy, you sure have guts. A terrifying aura emanated, causing the entire ancient temple to tremble. This made Su Yan's hair stand on end. There was really someone inside, and he was even speaking. Get lost immediately. If you weren't a disciple of the Big Dipper clan, I would have suppressed you for 10,000 years. His voice carried an unquestionable tone as he berated Su Yan and told him to leave. Su Yan was truly worried. This was too strange. However, he keenly discovered that the golden coffin was trembling slightly. This made Su Yan's heart turn cold. The Big Dipper 7 stars fist erupted in a flash, and 6 punches were produced in succession. Boom! Su Yan pushed all of his fighting strength and ruthlessly smashed it down. The heavenly coffin trembled, and the lid caved in. Su Yan's punch was quite astonishing. It could even shatter the materialization divine weapon and blast through the coffin lid. What are you doing? How dare you attack my cave abode? The creature in the coffin was shaken. It shouted angrily, "What a good junior! This noble one has roamed the universe for countless years. Even the divine kings have to bow down and worship. You actually dare to be rude to me." Su Yan continued to throw punch after punch, completely ignoring the living being in the coffin. He continued to smash the coffin lid with all his might. Junior, you are uncivilized. You ambushed me while I was injured. Stop hitting me." The golden coffin swayed, and it looked like it was about to be pierced through. "Hand over my treasure, you pretentious guy. If you don't crawl out, I will tear down your coffin lid." Su Yan was still waving his fists, causing the golden coffin to tremble continuously. In the end, he admitted defeat. The natal cauldron left the coffin and flew to the top of Su Yan's head, its power greatly reduced. Su Yan swung his fists and punched again. This made the golden coffin almost vomit blood. He roared, "Kid, you have to be honest and honest. I have already given it to you. Why don't you stop? If you continue to target me, don't blame me for being impolite. If you come out, I will not target you. If you want to attack me, then do it. I really want to see how strong you are." Su Yan said disdainfully. He felt that the creature in the coffin was very weak. "The coffin is me. I am the coffin. I am the spirit of the immortal coffin." The golden coffin replied. Su Yan's face darkened. How could he believe that a broken coffin could become an immortal? He once again used the Big Dipper fist, brandished his fist, and smashed it, wanting to blast the coffin apart. "Damn it, you are so stubborn. I admit defeat. I surrender." The golden coffin turned black. He was so angry that his body was shaking. "Take the black chain away. Don't let it near me. Take it away." The black chain. Su Yan's expression changed. The black chain could restrain the golden coffin? His face was full of suspicion. He picked up the black chain. The moment it left the coffin, the golden coffin shone brightly. It was as if it had turned into a terrifying dragon and attacked Su Yan. "You're revolting." Su Yan's eyes widened. His body seemed to be made of divine gold. He was wearing the astral battle armor and circulating the tyrant body art. His body was full of energy. The golden coffin quickly calmed down and said in a deep voice, "You are not bad. You have passed my test. I can accept you as my disciple. To tell you the truth, I am the Silver Dragon King. Silver, your sister. He has been dead for hundreds of thousands of years." Su Yan's face was filled with disbelief. This punch came crashing down, wanting to shatter the golden coffin. "Stop fighting. I'll come out. I'll come out." The golden coffin was anxious. It was afraid that Su Yan's punch would damage it again. In the next moment, Su Yan was stunned because the golden coffin had disappeared. In its place was a creature covered in silver light. It was difficult to see its appearance. The silver creature also saw Su Yan. Its silver pupils shone with an extremely intense radiance. "It's you." Chapter 286. "What? You recognize me now?" The silver creature held its hands behind its back with the appearance of a peerless expert and said proudly, "Let me tell you, it's too late now. You were targeting me just now. Humph, brat, even if your parents come, they won't be able to protect you." The silver creature didn't get to be arrogant for long before it was knocked down to the ground by Su Yan's fist. After a round of beating, Su Yan angrily said, "You still dare to trick me? I think you really won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Pretending to be garlic in front of me. Stop hitting me, stop hitting me. Brat, you're crazy." The silver creature was beaten by Su Yan until it let out a sound like a pig being butchered. The silver radiance on its body was about to disperse as it cried out miserably, "Do you know who I am? You're trying to kill me as soon as you come up. Quickly let go, quickly let go. Little guy, what do you want?" The silver creature didn't utter a word. Its eyes were filled with fear. Su Yan took out the black chain to tie it up. "I think you're not being honest, so I'll lock you up right now." Su Yan's response made the silver creature so angry that it said with a trembling voice, "Hero, let's talk nicely. What do you want to say? Don't fight and kill. We're all civilized people. This is a disgrace to civilization. Hurry up. Obediently reveal your true form." Su Yan's tone was fierce. At the same time, he pulled the black chain closer to the silver creature. The silver creature had no choice but to yield. The silver radiance on its body dispersed, and its true appearance was revealed. Su Yan was stunned. He scratched his head and said in a low voice, "Sigh, I understand. Hurry up and disguise yourself." "Brat, you dare to insult me." Its pair of silver eyes had turned red, and a faint rolling mist filled the air. It flapped its bare wings, wanting to fight Su Yan to the death. Su Yan was very puzzled. This was a big rooster. Although its skin was silver, it was completely naked. This was too ugly. It glared at Su Yan with its bean-sized silver eyes. It was very angry and resentful. "No one insulted you." Su Yan quickly shook his head. "You brat, what's wrong with your eyes?" The big rooster was so angry that it floated in the air. It flapped its wings and pointed at Su Yan, correcting him. "I am a godly phoenix. Do you know what kind of creature a godly phoenix is?" "Ha! If a godly phoenix were to grow up to be like you, Baokai would be the ancestor of all beasts. As the saying goes, you can't judge a book by its cover. Don't take it to heart." Su Yan was almost cramping up from laughing. This bald cheapskate was a godly phoenix? What miser! I'm really an immortal phoenix. It was so angry that its whole body was trembling. It said angrily, "Kid, I advise you to be more respectful to me. Do you know who I am? You'll be scared to death if I tell you. Even the deity kings have to kowtow to me. Miser, I think you need to be taught a lesson. If you don't lay an egg for me now, I will definitely not forgive you." Su Yan waved the black chain and walked towards the cheapskate. His words were unbearable for the cheapskate. It screamed like a pig being slaughtered. "You insulted me. You better be honest and tell me the truth." Su Yan urged. "Time is limited. If you don't tell me your origin, I won't be merciful." At this moment, the Milky Way trembled. The black river that was as black as ink and the blazing golden heavenly river were intertwined in the first place. But now, they were starting to separate. This scene shocked Su Yan. The cheapskate's expression changed. "Oh no, they're going to separate. I've waited for countless years for the yin and yang to merge. What are you doing?" The cheapskate was furious. Su Yan picked it up and threatened. "Tell me the truth, or you can forget about absorbing the creation. Are you crazy? This is a supreme opportunity, and it will disappear soon." The cheapskate was extremely anxious. "Let me go. You can't absorb the creation without me." Hearing this, Su Yan frowned. He looked up at the sky and realized that the immortal light was no longer pouring down. What was going on? "How about this? Let's work together, and I'll give you a share of the creation. The cheapskate said anxiously. If you hesitate any longer, the creation will really disappear. You will regret it for the rest of your life. Su Yin lowered his head and thought for a while, then let it go. Buzz. The cheapskate flapped its wings and flew into the sky. Moreover, it was mumbling something, and its expression gradually became serious. It even moved its chicken claws majestically, like a rooster, and began to walk back and forth in the void. It was like a charlatan, shaking its head and spitting out a large number of ancient words. These words revolved around the cheapskate. Under Su Yan's gaze, the cheapskate disappeared. The scene was a bit strange. The cheapskate turned into a golden coffin, lying under the Milky Way. This thing contained a strange divine power. Whether it was the extreme Yin River, the extreme Yang River, or the coffin, it was like a special pattern. When they were arranged together, Su Yin found that the three seemed to have merged into one. What kind of secret technique was this? It was too strange. In short, when the golden coffin appeared, the yin-yang Milky Way sprinkled down immortal light and blended with it. This, Su Yin quickly jumped up and asked, "What kind of secret technique is this? Quickly pass it to me. You won't be able to learn it even if I give it to you. This is something I researched for countless years. With your cultivation, you will die of old age with just a glance." As soon as the cheapskate's voice was heard, Su Yin took out the black chain and threatened it. It shook the golden coffin angrily and said, "This is a forbidden technique. It won't do you any good if you learn it. It will bring about a great disaster. Now, we should work together sincerely and seek opportunities together. There is no infighting." Su Yan's heart was heavy. The heavenly coffin that the cheapskate turned into was very similar to the Snow Mountain Dragon coffin. Then he noticed that the yin-yang Milky Way was beginning to separate. His expression changed. Su Yin also needed the divine power contained in the yin-yang Milky Way to push the potential of the divine realm to another level. Now, he could only cultivate in seclusion. Su Yin calmed down and returned to his cultivation state. It's time for me to break through. Su Yan's divine art gate, which was formed from his life spring, was already ready to move. He took out the Heaven's Essence stone and refined it once again. A large amount of Heaven's Essence was absorbed by him, and Su Yan's ninth divine art secret door had finally opened its last shackle. Boom! The divine power overflowed like a tide. The divine realm power was vast and boundless. It was as if a corner of the ocean was opened. Waves of turbulent air currents filled the entire ancient palace. After reaching the ninth heaven of the divine realm, Su Yan's life spring evolved to the extreme. It was filled with a divine aura. His life spring was as mysterious as a huge dojo. There were all kinds of markings in it that looked like a human figure. These markings seemed to have been revived. They were filled with a prehistoric aura. It was as if there were many ancient deities that walked out from the desolate era and were about to rule the world. Why is his life spring so strange? There are so many terrifying markings. Could he be the descendant of a true immortal? The cheapskate thought to himself. He was very surprised as he couldn't see through Su Yan's life spring. Even when Su Yan reached the ninth heaven of the divine realm, his body and life spring awakened at the same time. At that moment, the initial scripture was activated. The moment the life spring and the power of his body merged into one, a blurry and majestic chaotic ocean appeared behind him. In the chaotic ocean, there were many figures that stood in the past and present. They were looking at the present and the future. Su Yan understood. His body and life spring had merged into one and appeared in the form of Dharma form. What kind of vision is this? Duke Tai was suspicious. He said, "You want to reach the Dharma form realm? I advise you to slow down a bit." The cheapskate wanted to slap himself after saying that. How could he help his enemy? "I didn't plan to break through." Su Yan opened his eyes. His face was filled with joy. He could still continue to increase his potential. Then, he retracted his vision. His body started to absorb the celestial light that descended from the yin-yang celestial river. Strands of celestial light entered his body. Su Yan's immortal divine treasury was blazing. It was like the sea of reincarnation was shining. This kind of energy was too special. It had a nourishing effect on Su Yin. Su Yin even took out the yin-yang fish and started to eat it. The power of creation from the yin-yang celestial river combined with the yin-yang fish made the effect even better. You have yin-yang fish? Give me a few thousand. The cheapskate demanded an exorbitant price. Su Yin wanted to beat him up. A few thousand? Give me the myriad heavens' divine arts. Su Yin replied, You little brat, what do you think the myriad heavens' divine arts are? You now have the fortune that everyone dreams of. It is enough for you to look down on the world in the divine arts secret realm. Ingjia, can you get it without me? What is a few yin-yang fish? Hurry up and give it to me. The golden coffin was so angry that it turned black. Seeing that Su Yin didn't reply, the cheapskate kept silent for a while. He then laughed and said, Let's talk nicely. I will give you a great divine art. Let's make a deal. Give me 3 yin-yang fish. 1 divine ability in exchange for 1. Su Yin offered. F*CK, you are too greedy. I will raise the price. 5 for 1. The cheapskate said angrily, Don't think that yin-yang fish is precious. There are plenty of them in the yin-yang river. Su Yin couldn't be bothered with him. The fish in the yin-yang river, other than the school of fish, were all taken away by him. Su Yin sat cross-legged on the golden coffin. Yang Qi surged in his body and nourished his potential with yin Qi. His body was burning with a blazing light. The divine power contained in his body was terrifying. It started to grow stronger and faster. He ate another pair of yin-yang fish, and the speed of his awakening was even faster. Su Yan's muscles started to tremble in excitement. Deal. The cheapskate passed a great divine art to Su Yin after holding it in for a long time. No, this yin-yang fish is too precious to me. I am not trading. Su Yan's head was like a rattle drum. F*CK. The cheapskate was so angry that his whole body was trembling. Brat, if you don't give it to me, I will take away the secret art immediately. You will not be able to obtain any fortunes. Seeing that Su Yin still didn't say anything, the cheapskate was really at his wit's end. He begged bitterly, saying good things and taking out the true dragon claw in exchange for a pair of yin-yang fish. Su Yin looked at his pitiful appearance and reluctantly took out a pair of yin-yang fish. The cheapskate was so angry that he couldn't speak. Although the yin-yang fish was precious, its value was not comparable to a great divine art. Moreover, this was the true dragon claw. Here, found it. At this moment, the 2 fish kings had already disappeared without a trace. However, many people had come to the tunnel. Shuiguan and the others killed their way here and sought a tunnel that led directly to the Land of Fortune. The Land of Fortune, we are here. The various prodigies were excited. These people rushed in quickly, but they were killed the moment they stepped into the tunnel. All of them screamed continuously. After all, they had suffered heavy losses during the search. Now, some of the prodigies were having a hard time enduring. Chapter 287. After swallowing 5 pairs of yin-yang fish, a vast amount of Tai Yin and Tai Yang Qi rose from Su Yan's body. When he was bathed in the divine light from the yin-yang celestial river, Su Yan's entire body shone with divine light. Because the divine power contained within was too strong, he felt like he was going to explode. Su Yin stood on the golden coffin and roared into the sky. His black hair danced wildly. His entire body seemed to have transformed into an ancient Taiji diagram that was shrouded in a terrifying light, causing the world to turn golden and resplendent. Aren't you afraid of dying from overeating? You ate so many yin-yang fishes. Miserly Rooster was extremely jealous and said, Damn it, there's no justice in this world. How can a divine realm have such a strong body? Could it be that the potential of the body can be awakened? As soon as Miserly Rooster finished speaking, Su Yan's body rumbled as if he was carrying the yin and yang celestial rivers. When they collided, an unparalleled divine power was born and mixed in Su Yan's body. Su Yan's body seemed to have disappeared and turned into a furnace. He circulated the beginning scripture, and his body was like the universe, stealing the fortune of heaven and earth and devouring the essence of heaven and earth. Yin and yang were the tools, and fortune was the furnace. It was a coincidence that Su Yin encountered a great opportunity. This cultivation method was perfectly suitable for the profound meaning hidden in the beginning scripture. Swish, swish. Inside Su Yan's treasure body, the primitive aura was awakening. It was as if the supreme God power of the desolate era had been awakened inside Su Yan's treasure body. It was like a primordial true dragon. This was because the yin and yang qi nourished the primordial divine power. Su Yin couldn't help but stretch out his limbs. At this moment, he had changed. He was like a primordial true dragon stretching out. As his heart rumbled and the light of his natal divine ability surged, Su Yan's 4 limbs seemed to have opened up a small world and turned into the 4 poles of the universe. What was this? This was the next level up of Su Yan's intrinsic divine power. His limbs were circulating with a divine power that could split open the heavens. Although his intrinsic divine power had yet to be born, Su Yan's entire body was surging with a terrifying primordial light. This also caused a portion of Su Yan's incomplete physique to be repaired. Su Yan's entire body was relaxed. He raised his head to the sky and roared. The blurry sea of primal chaos behind him became much clearer. The space that filled it was distorted. One could imagine how frightening it was. Buzz. His potential had been unlocked, and the divine treasures in his body had been dug out. The blood essence in Su Yan's body instantly surged fiercely. His back was undulating like a primordial dragon. Suddenly, a stream of blood essence drilled out and penetrated Su Yan's skull. It rose from the ground with a momentum that reached the heavens. There was a terrifying might that could pierce through the heavens. Miserly Rooster didn't say anything, secretly cursing. Although some people in the divine power secret realm could cultivate to the extent of monstrous divine power, what was going on with the divine power in Su Yan's body now? It was almost piercing through the heavens. Su Yan's aura could swallow the rivers and mountains. His overall power was overwhelming. At this moment, he really looked like a young supreme being who was accumulating his strength. This was the divine power that filled the void and soared to the heavens. Su Yan's divine power was even more monstrous than what Zixia Fairy had said. This could barely be counted as piercing through the heavens. So strong. Su Yan's face was full of joy. The divine power secret realm of the 9th heaven. At this moment, his divine power secret realm and his body's secret realm were all in a perfect state. In an instant, he could recover his peerless combat strength. Someone is coming. The golden coffin lid clanged. Miserly Rooster was sending a signal. At the same time, the coffin's speed of absorbing yin and yang qi became faster. Rolling immortal light sprinkled in the coffin, nourishing Miserly Rooster's body. The coffin's speed gradually changed, faintly emitting a magnificent power. Su Yin suddenly closed his eyes. His primordial spirit in his frontal bone was transparent. The Sutra of the Future automatically recited. Su Yan's primordial spirit seemed to be sitting cross-legged in the future, watching the past and present. He borrowed the power of the Sutra of the Future to steal a trace of great power. He faintly observed a kind of terrible power returning to its original position. What's the origin of this guy? Su Yan was horrified. He couldn't help but feel the horror of the situation here. Yin and Yang were originally standing on opposite sides, but Miserly Rooster evolved a strange secret technique to steal great fortune. Su Yan was also a beneficiary. They're coming. Su Yan perceived with his primordial spirit that there were more than a dozen powerful creatures approaching this place. Those who had broken into this place were not weak, but they were all in a miserable state. They were as thin as a match, almost becoming skin and bones. Although they had lost a lot of energy, their combat strength was still very strong. Only Shuiguan was still in good condition. His combat strength was great to begin with, so when he made his way through Yin-Yang River, he didn't suffer too much damage. At this moment, they had already broken into the underground palace, currently heading towards the ancient palace Su Yan's group was in. These people were also on guard against each other. They had already found the land of natural luck, but who would give it up on a silver platter? This was especially the case with Shueguan's combat strength. When faced with this type of natural luck, he definitely wouldn't give it up. Right when they were about to slaughter their way into the ancient palace, a strand of terrifying aura swept over. It was desolate and grand, as if a divine king had awakened here. It surrounded Shueguan's group. Could it be that there is a divine king here? Someone's teeth were chattering. His eyes were full of horror, not daring to step into the ancient palace. It was because they had encountered a few corpses along the way. They determined that they were all top-level experts when they were alive, but they all fell here. Could it be that there was still an old antique alive here? Shueguan's group's breathing became heavy. This aura was too real. However, since they had already come, they weren't willing to back down. They all wanted to enter the ancient palace. Who dares disturb this great one's meditation? An aged voice suddenly sounded. It contained the desolation of the endless ages. The voice was like the ringing of a great yellow bell, as if it was transmitted from the future. It contained a supreme divine charm, and when it landed on the ground, it was like a clap of thunder. Tian Peng's group was frightened badly. Could this really be the cave of an old antique? After enduring for more than 100,000 years, it still hadn't gone extinct. Shueguan was very calm. One could see just how confident he was. He walked forward, bowed, and said, "This junior is Shueguan. I do not wish to disturb Senior's meditation. I hope Senior can forgive me. This junior really wants to see Senior's dragon face. Could you allow this junior to enter and take a look?" Ha! The aged voice became even more majestic. It recovered its vitality and let out a loud laughter. In that instant, the ancient palace rumbled. Afterimages appeared one after another in the void. They were all exuberant, archaic, true dragon energy that swept out. Shueguan and the others were suffocating. They felt their hair stand on end. Was this really a living old monster? You little fellows are not bad. You can pass through the Yin-Yang River in such a short time and find the Yin-Yang Tunnel. It seems like you were fated to be with this old man. The aged voice sounded faintly. It contained a majestic dragon's might. It said in an admiring tone, "I don't have much time left. I want to leave behind some orthodoxy. Who wants to come forward and accept it?" Nine Sun's divine son hurriedly walked forward and said loudly, "Senior, this junior is willing to accept your orthodoxy. In the future, I will carry it forward and establish a sect. I will definitely not disgrace your legacy." "Oh no, divine ability." Lei Yuguang and the others hurriedly walked forward. Whether it was true or not, they wanted to try. Only a few people didn't move. They were a little suspicious. They wondered if there was really a big shot who was about to pass away. "There's no hurry. You people barely qualify." The aged voice echoed. Its words were distant and grand. It appeared here. "Shueguan, take 3 steps forward. I see that your combat strength is strong and you have cultivated the supreme qi. It seems that you have cultivated an extraordinary technique. Let me see how strong your potential is." Shueguan frowned. Although he was a little suspicious, he still walked forward. The group of people became anxious, especially Nine Sun's divine son, who was like a loudspeaker. He said, "Senior, this Shueguan has obtained the inheritance of a mighty figure. He is not suitable to receive your inheritance. Why don't you choose someone else? Senior, what do you think of me?" Everyone looked at Shueguan. They were also doubting whether the rumors were reliable. "Oh, the inheritance of a mighty figure? Which mighty figure's inheritance is it? Tell me the name. I might be familiar with it." The aged voice surged like a tide. It contained the vast aura of a primordial true dragon. It resounded in their ears, making Lei Yuguang and the others surprised. "This old monster is a mighty figure?" Shueguan was silent for a while. He raised his head and stared at the door of the ancient palace. He said calmly, "Senior, I sincerely want to see your true appearance. Can you allow me to?" Nine Sun's divine son and the others looked uncertain. Does this Shueguan really have a peerless foundation? Is he not afraid of the anger of the mysterious powerhouse? "Good, young man. You have guts." The old voice said with a smile, "You're not bad. You're truly a newborn calf that isn't afraid of tiger. Since you insist on coming in, then come. I also want to see which fellow Taoist you are as a disciple of another generation. Lei Yuguang and the others didn't dare to say anything. Is it really a mighty figure? Of course. The aged voice sounded again with a hint of coldness. If you can't open the door of the ancient palace, I don't mind teaching you how to respect your elders on behalf of your master. Haha, Supreme Shuiguan, why don't you rush in and see the power of a mighty figure? Nine Sun's divine son laughed. Shuiguan hesitated when he heard that. However, he was bold and had a peerless foundation. He could even take out a decree of a mighty figure. He actually got up and walked in. The more he acted like this, the more the geniuses were afraid of Shuiguan. This person must have an unfathomable foundation. Then, everyone was stunned. Shuiguan tried his best to open the door of the ancient palace, but it was opened so easily. Saintess Zi Wei and the others were stunned. What was going on? Damn, what kind of trick are you playing? You are so unreliable. Miser Rooster's angry voice sounded. I told you to delay them for a while. Look at what you did. Can you blame me for this? Or is it because you're not strong enough? Your tricks are too lousy. Su Yin said with a dark face. It has nothing to do with me. You still blame me? I suppressed them when they came in just now. Are you addicted to pretending to be a mighty figure? Don't try to be a porcelain doll if you can't do it. The two of them quarreled, and their words spread outside. Outside the ancient palace, more than a dozen miserable geniuses stood there. They were so angry that their stomachs hurt. Chapter 288. The entire ancient palace began to rumble. Undisguised killing intent was released and swept through the entire ancient palace. Shuiguan and the others were infuriated. Their severely damaged bodies burst out with resplendent divine light as they rushed into the ancient palace one after another. They really wanted to know what was inside the ancient palace and what kind of fortunes were left behind. The moment they arrived, they were stunned by the scene in the ancient palace. They looked up and saw two heavenly rivers floating above the ancient palace. They were like two yin-yang fish revolving around the ancient palace. Kacha! An ear-piercing sound appeared. It was a regrettable scene. The yin-yang heavenly river began to separate, and the fortune disappeared. If the yin-yang heavenly river could merge again and give birth to the fortune, who knew how long it would take? Shuiguan and the others couldn't see through the layout of this place. They didn't know what kind of fortune existed here. The true dragon's nest had been sealed for tens of thousands of years. They couldn't guess what the ancient palace had experienced in these 2 days. Boom! Just as they were lost in thought, the entire ancient palace went berserk. The aura of the immemorial true dragon poured out. The topography of this place was triggered and filled the entire ancient palace. However, what kind of people were Shuiguan and the others? To be able to reach this place, their battle prowess was not weak. One by one, they recovered and shattered the true dragon's domain. More than 10 heavens prides soared into the sky and patrolled the surroundings. Where do you think you're going? Saintess Zi Wei's heavenly eye shone. She sensed something and felt a slight distortion in the void. Although it was difficult to detect, it was still locked onto by her Zi Wei heavenly eye. Her eyes shot out 2 rays of divine light, aiming to lock onto Su Yan. However, Su Yan's movements were too fast. The moment they charged in, he used the earth overturning seal to disturb the topography. Then he used earth shrinking to cross the void and arrived at the entrance of the ancient palace. Roar! Just as the crowd was about to attack, Shuiguan suddenly let out an angry roar. Divine light surged from his treasure body like a waterfall. Together with monstrous law patterns, they filled the entire ancient palace. Even the void exploded. A Qilin appeared behind Shuiguan, filling up the entire ancient hall. This ancient Qilin was majestic and awe-inspiring. Its roar shook the entire ancient hall, causing the surrounding geniuses' ears to ring and their blood to boil. Shuiguan was truly terrifying. A Qilin appeared, its roar shattering the void. Su Yin was exposed in front of their eyes. At the same time, the Qilin rushed over with an unstoppable divine might, causing the entire ancient palace to shake. Some of the huge pillars were on the verge of shattering. Tian Peng and the others were overwhelmed with shock. Shuiguan was truly terrifying. The Qilin had already pounced over and was about to tear apart Su Yan's body. Bang! The rooster grabbed Su Yan's sleeves with both hands and flapped its bare wings. It pressed down on the door of the ancient temple and closed it. Lei Guang laughed. Could the palace doors block Shuiguan's great divine ability? This was Shuiguan's furious attack, and he had used all of his strength. However, what stunned them was that when the Qilin crashed into the palace doors, the doors did not move at all, but the Qilin exploded into pieces. How can it be so sturdy? What material is it made of? Could it be divine material? Divine Sun Jiuyang was stunned. How sturdy must the doors be? With Shuiguan's strength, just now, even an aspect divine weapon would be destroyed. Shuiguan's face was gloomy. The palace doors could not be opened. They were very heavy. He opened his heavenly eye to observe the void. He could faintly see that the divine power inside the palace was burning and turning into a prison, trapping them inside. Unless someone opens it from the outside, we can only wait for the palace to burn itself down. Saint Ziwei saw through the clues and frowned. But how does Su Yin know the method to open the ancient palace's disc array? Even if he's a mystical cultivator, his cultivation can't be that high. Could Su Yin have obtained the true dragon's inheritance? Ingjia the rock race did not look good. They had worked so hard and almost vomited blood to get here, but in the end, there was nothing. The only remaining palace was also destroyed. See that? I'm still the most reliable at critical moments. The bald silver rooster said smugly. Follow me from now on, and I'll guarantee that you'll have a good life. Hurry up and call me Big Brother. Hey, Iron Rooster, stop fooling around. Su Yin could not help but look at him in disdain. Look at you, Big Brother. If you want me to take you in as a follower, I'll have to think about it. Su Yin was very fast. He knew that the ancient palace could not trap Shuiguan and the others for too long. He had to get out as soon as possible and leave the true dragon's nest. The Iron Rooster was so angry that he could not speak. His face turned green as he said angrily, "Brat, back then, even the Divine King begged me to take him in as a follower. There's no medicine for regret in this world. Iron Rooster, why don't you look in the mirror before bragging?" Su Yin glanced at the Iron Rooster and threatened, "Your feathers have been plucked clean by others, and you still have the nerve to brag. I'm ashamed of you. You're pissing me off." The Iron Rooster was flustered and exasperated. He flapped his wings and grabbed Su Yin. His bean-sized eyes were spitting fire. Just as he was about to flare up, he saw Su Yin quietly take out the black chain. The Iron Rooster's expression changed very quickly. He laughed and said, "We're all family. Fighting and killing is too hurtful." Su Yin was suspicious. He had studied this black chain before, but he could not find any clues. Was this thing that strong? When he held the black chain and gestured, the Iron Rooster seemed a little abnormal. Now that Su Yin had flown out of the tunnel, he put away the black chain. He felt that it was better to leave this place first. When he arrived at the extreme Yang River again, Su Yan's situation improved a lot. At this moment, he saw a familiar face. Fairy Zixia was looking for him. She was graceful and elegant, full of charm. She was full of life, swaying gracefully. Little Fairy Zixia. Su Yin greeted her from afar. He said warmly, "I didn't expect to meet you here. Su Yin, what are you doing here?" Fairy Zixia's big eyes wandered around, inspecting Su Yin. When she noticed the big rooster standing on Su Yan's shoulder, she suddenly giggled. "Where did you catch this wild animal? It's too ugly. It doesn't even have any feathers on its body." The Iron Rooster's face fell, but he did not say anything, which was rare. Su Yin was surprised. He laughed and said, "It said that it wants to follow me and transform into a divine phoenix one day." "Ha!" Fairy Zixia laughed until she was swaying back and forth. Her curvaceous body undulated. Her eyes were shining with wisdom, and her eyelashes were long. The Iron Rooster tried hard to restrain his impulse to beat Su Yin up. He took a deep breath and roared in his heart, calm down, calm down. I'm a graceful expert. I won't lower myself to his level." "All right, Have you seen Shueguan and the others? When Fairy Zisha asked this question, her expression changed. She saw a tunnel behind them. Her pupils shrank, and her expression became serious. Don't mention it. Shueguan and the others have already killed their way in. If I go in, won't I be courting death? Su Yan said with a serious expression. Hurry up and go in. It's said that there's good fortune inside. I'm going to leave now. I don't want to be blocked by them. That's true. Hurry up and go. Be careful on the way. I'll go and see what good fortune there is. Fairy Zixia was in a good mood. She reminded Su Yan and then entered the tunnel. Su Yan left in a hurry. On the way, he asked, Why are you afraid of her? Who's afraid of her? The Iron Rooster said angrily, I'm giving face to the elders of the Taoist temple. Otherwise, I would have beaten her up long ago. Taoist temple. Su Yan was surprised. What kind of force is that? I've never heard of it. The universe is magnificent. What you've seen is just the tip of the iceberg. How can you speculate about this world? As for me, I know everything from astronomy to geography. There's nothing I don't know. The Iron Rooster showed off. Su Yan took out the black chain. The Iron Rooster immediately became obedient and explained, This is a very ancient force. This girl's background is not simple. There are very few descendants of the Taoist temple. It seems that the universe is going to be chaotic. Even the descendants of the Taoist temple have appeared. Is the era of kings fighting for supremacy coming? If you don't follow me, you won't even be able to raise your head in the future. The Iron Rooster's old habits were acting up again. Su Yan was too lazy to pay attention to it. His speed was very fast, and he kept going upstream. The True Dragon's lair was not peaceful now. Many Yingjia had died and were buried in the extreme Yin River. A group of them had also died in the extreme Yang River. For a while, there was an uproar. Outside the Star Catacomb, the elders of the various clans were waiting anxiously. They had not received any news for a long time, and they did not know what kind of opportunities existed in the True Dragon's lair. Shui family head, why did you arrange so many people to guard the entrance of the True Dragon's lair? Star Element's expression was unfriendly. His cold eyes swept over the elders of the Shui family. He said coldly, Why? Are you going to attack the geniuses of the Big Dipper family? Hearing this, the Shui family head said indifferently, Great Elder, you worry too much. Let the younger generation go on an expedition. We, the older generation, will not blindly interfere. Are you saying that I am of the same generation as you? Star Element's domineering tone contained a wisp of killing intent. It was as if a giant dragon had awakened here. When it opened its eyes, the sun, moon, and stars were engraved in its eyes. It was as if it was real. When it opened and closed its eyes, the void would shatter. The Shui family head's expression was not normal. He suppressed the humiliation in his heart and said, Great Elder, how would I dare to communicate with you of the same generation? It's just that this is a struggle between the younger generation. It's not good for me to interfere. Young people these days are too hot-tempered. Star Element. Han Jin suddenly said, Young people, if you don't experience bloody storms and cruel bloody battles like hell, how can you climb up in the future and become strong? Young people should take risks and experience more dangerous situations. Only then could they move forward bravely. Throughout history, which expert didn't stand on a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood to get to where they were? What can a flower in a greenhouse achieve in the future? Xiao Wen and the others were furious. What kind of danger was this? So many people have been placed at the entrance of the True Dragon's lair. What do they want to do? Star Element sighed in his heart. He was too lazy to say anything more. He saw that Han Tong was also among them. This was Han Jin's #1 disciple, and he was even a genius in his family. He felt that he had to invite the old ancestor. Otherwise, the Big Dipper clan would really be torn apart. Someone ran out of the water. I wonder if they have captured Su Yan alive? Did the champion of our clan obtain the fortune of the True Dragon's lair? It's too fierce down there. Even geniuses find it difficult to withstand. I think Su Yan has already been refined to death. Many cultivators were stationed at the bank of the extreme Yin River. Most of them had received orders from their superiors to wait for Su Yan to come out. When the figure swimming up from below became clearer and clearer, the people guarding here were surprised and delighted. Su Yin! Someone immediately shouted angrily. Someone come quickly. Su Yin has run out. This kid is really lucky to be able to come out alive. Kid, you have a lot of enemies. They are guarding you here. The miser covered his mouth with his wings and snickered. Guarding me? Su Yan's eyes were cold. He snorted in his heart. Shui Guan and the others are trapped in the main hall. How dare they guard here? Chapter 289. Look, Su Yan actually crawled out of the extreme Yin River. He's actually still alive. As soon as this was said, the cultivators sitting cross-legged nearby all stood up. Especially the followers of the geniuses from outside the realm. They were extremely excited. Su Yan had taken away the true dragon chi and 3 true dragon grasses. Even the quasi-sage medicine that Shui Guan had lost might very well be in Su Yan's hands. If they could capture him alive, the merit would be unimaginable. On the black water surface, a person had already crawled out. Su Yan pretended to be flustered. He looked around as if he was about to escape. This scene made the cheapskate look down on him. Although there were many cultivators around who wanted to target Su Yan, none of them were truly worthy of being on the stage. He made such a gesture to attract more people to make a move. This scene made the eyes of the onlookers turn red. Not to mention taking away Su Yan's treasure. Taking away a true dragon grass was already a great stroke of luck. Su Yan, you're really lucky to be able to crawl out alive. Every dog has its day. The feeling of being in the extreme Yin River wasn't very good, right? One of Shui Guan's cousins laughed loudly. He knew that the bottom of the extreme Yin River was very dangerous. Many experts had already died here. We didn't wait for you for so long in vain. You're finally out. A group of cultivators rushed over, all of them laughing loudly. We've searched high and low for you, only to find you with all our efforts. Someone took out a killing sword, causing the temperature in the area to plummet. Su Yan, hand over the true dragon grass, and I'll back out now. One of Tian Peng's followers directly pounced forward. This was a giant bird with a body like a cloud. It stretched out its claws to capture Su Yan. Su Yan is the person that Shui Guan wanted to capture alive. No one can interfere. The Shui family's cultivators were furious. A large group of them charged forward, wanted to be the first to capture Su Yan alive. I thought there were some experts. So it's just you guys. Su Yan frowned. He thought that Han Tongzhou would be here, but he didn't expect that there would only be some cultivators with average strength. What do you mean? Some people had cold looks in their eyes. Su Yan's expression and tone seemed to be looking down on them. This made them furious. There were at least over 100 experts gathered here. No matter how strong Su Yan was, how could he withstand the joint attack of all of them? Nothing much. Who wants to die first? Su Yan cast a sidelong glance at these people and scolded. Good for you, Su Yan. Shui Guan's cousin was so angry that his face turned ashen. He pointed at Su Yan and roared. Even now, you still dare to speak so arrogantly. Kill this bastard for me. No, capture him alive. Do not harm his life. Kill. This place erupted with chaos. Surging killing lights surged, covering the void densely. Killing artifacts smashed through the air one after another. The movement was very big. Black waves appeared on the banks of the extreme Yin River. There were over 100 cultivators attacking at the same time. The scene was too spectacular. There was a power that could suppress heaven and earth rippling out. There were also people who were watching the battle who were frightened. There were too many people attacking, and most of them had grudges with Su Yan. There were also some who wanted to take advantage of the situation to see if they could snatch a true dragon grass. Su Yan did not move. His head of long black hair was tired. On his handsome face, there was a trace of cold light. Some people were surprised. Su Yan did not move at all. However, some people saw that the giant bird under Tian Peng's command was waving its claws. It was as if it was grabbing onto an indestructible divine metal. The giant bird felt a chill all over its body, and a sense of fear appeared in its body. It was the closest to Su Yan and could clearly feel the terrifying airflow from this person's body. It seemed to fill the entire void and began to penetrate the heavens. I don't have any true dragon grass. but I can send you on your way. Su Yin raised his hand. His palm rapidly enlarged as he grabbed hold of the giant bird. Stop. I'm a subordinate of the Peng race's prodigy. The giant bird was horrified. It was a creature at the third heaven of the Law Phase realm, but it was captured alive by Su Yin in one move. It struggled, but the hand that held its body seemed to be made of divine materials and was filled with energy that made it suffocate. Ah! It screamed miserably as Su Yin crushed it in the void. The sky was dyed red with blood. Su Yin's entire body glowed as terrifying flames rippled within his body. A gigantic, dragon-shaped pillar spat out from the top of his head. The energy ripples that were created from the vibrations swept across all directions. For a moment, the world shook. A large number of cultivators were sent flying, coughing out large mouthfuls of blood. Some cultivators disintegrated in the air, exploding into ashes. What was this place? This was the true dragon's lair. Almost everyone was suppressed, but Su Yin grasped the true dragon's secret technique and was not suppressed at all. What happened? Some people were stunned. The scene in front was too tragic and too sudden. There were broken limbs everywhere. The ground was covered in broken bones and blood. How can this be? How can he be so strong? Many of the survivors were terrified. They crawled up and wanted to escape. They couldn't even believe their eyes. Since you're here, then stay. Su Yan's entire body shone with golden light. His might was shocking. He emitted a divine power source that seemed to pierce through the sky. He roared out and filled the true dragon's lair. Everyone trembled in fear. They couldn't believe that this was the current Su Yin. Run! Those who survived were terrified. They fled in panic as if they saw a peerless genius erupt and want to kill them all. Crack! Su Yan's large hand stretched out again, causing the huge true dragon's lair to undulate. Ancient dragon might scattered down. It was as if a heavenly dragon's claw had descended from the sky and shattered the void. The miser was astonished. He waved his bare wings and scratched his head. Then he muttered inwardly, "This brat grasped the true dragon's secret technique. It should be a supreme secret technique of the true dragon bloodline. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to grasp the true dragon's claw in such a short time." Large amounts of fleeing cultivators screamed miserably. They were torn apart by the dragon claw. "Don't kill me. I'm Shueguan's cousin." A young man's scalp went numb. His face was pale. He was scared out of his wits. All the hair on his body stood on end. This reason isn't enough. Su Yin approached and looked down at him like a divine king. He was angry here. True dragon after images flashed in the void one after another. The scene was full of shock. He knelt down with a plop and quickly cowed out. He said in fear, "Don't kill me. Spare me. I won't dare to do it again." Among the onlookers, some of the older generation were speechless. The might of a supreme being. He scared the enemy out of their wits. This is the might of a supreme being. The current Su Yin is too strong. I wonder what realm he is at now. Is he at the third heaven of the Transcendence realm? How much more? His cultivation speed is really a miracle. He's too fierce. I've seen the essence blood in his body. It seems like it can pierce through the sky. This is really scary. Those who can do this are all at the sixth heaven of the Transcendence realm. But Su Yan's body is strong. I think he's at the second or third heaven of the Transcendence realm. Someone evaluated and said, the Big Dipper prodigy lives up to his name. Can he compete with Shueguan in the future? Difficult, difficult, difficult. There are 7 or 8 small realms between them. Every small realm in the Transcendence realm takes years to break through. This is considered fast. If Su Yin was given 10 years, he should be able to do it. But why would Shueguan give him 10 years? He's already enlightened himself. The older generation discussed secretly. They rarely participated in battles and came here to search for opportunities to prolong their lives. Spineless. You deserve to die. Su Yin glared at him, and a beam of light shot out from his eyes. It was like a sharp killing sword, tearing him into pieces. Su Yan's eyes scanned the surroundings. He didn't use the astral armor and had already defeated everyone here. The 9th heaven of the Transcendent realm. His body and life spring were complete. Once they were awakened, they erupted at the same time. His combat power was shocking. The people who surrounded him died. None of them could escape. If I put on the astral armor, my combat power will be at the second or third heaven of the transcendence realm. If I use the tyrant body technique, I'll probably be able to exert the power of the sixth heaven of the transcendence realm. The secret technique isn't a solution. I need to be at the transcendence realm with my true strength. Thinking of this, Su Yin made a prompt decision. He crossed the void and wanted to leave. Su Yin wanted to go to the reincarnation pool and break through. After a period of hibernation, he would definitely enter the transcendence realm. By then, he wouldn't be afraid of anyone. Su Yin is too calm. He only left after collecting the treasures of the dead. Someone frowned and said, "Did something happen to Shui Guan and the rest?" Otherwise, Su Yin wouldn't have had the time to search for their treasures. At this point, Fairy Zixia was furious. She gritted her teeth and went crazy. She wanted to beat Su Yin up. In front of her, the ancient palace shattered and turned into ashes. The divine child of the Nine Sons was crying. He said that they had been tricked by Su Yin and had been trapped in the ancient palace for a while. Now, they estimated that Su Yin should have escaped. "Damn thief. You tricked me by saying that you're afraid of being killed? Kill your head. I'm so angry. You took the opportunity and didn't even say that you wanted to split it." Fairy Zixia was so angry that she gritted her teeth. Her big eyes looked around, inspecting the destroyed ancient palace. She was annoyed. She covered her forehead with her white hand and muttered, "It's destroyed. This is troublesome. Who won the game? What does it have to do with Su Yin? Could it have something to do with a rooster that wanted to become a divine phoenix?" Fairy Zixia guessed. She looked through the ruins with a sad face, trying to find some clues. She wanted to know the real reason for the collapse of the Big Dipper. Outside the true dragon's lair, it was not quiet. Someone rushed out and said excitedly, "Su Yin ran up from the extreme Yin River. I guess he's now being hunted by the masters of our clan. Maybe we can kill Su Yin without the need for the trap here." As soon as this was said, the cultivators who were hiding at the entrance of the true dragon's lair felt sorry. They had waited for a long time. They didn't want to see Su Yin die. They wanted to kill him with their own hands. Shualong was killed. How could Shui Guan let it go? The Shui family had set up a backup plan here to prevent Su Yin from coming out. He must come out alive. I'm going to tear him apart. Han Tong was also guarding the passage. Recalling the past hatred, he couldn't help but smile. I'll let that old bastard Star Element see who is the real king of the younger generation of the Big Dipper bloodline. It's time to put an end to it. I, Han Tong, have endured for hundreds of years. How can I be a paper? I'll make you all look at me differently. No, I should go out and kill this bastard myself. If I join forces with the Shui family to kill Su Yin, it's hard to say who will take Su Yin's life. Thinking of this, Han Tong suddenly stood up and said in a strong tone, "Men, lead the way. We'll detain Su Yin and bring him to justice. The Big Dipper bloodline has shed too much blood. We must use Su Yan's sinner's blood as a sacrifice to their souls. Today, I'll clean up the family for the Big Dipper bloodline." Okay, Chapter 290. Han Tong was full of boldness, as if he was a king among men. He was awe-inspiring and looked down on everyone. His temperament was completely different. He was no longer holding back. His words were very domineering as he ordered the Shui family cultivator to lead the way. "Han Tong, what are you doing?" The Shui family was stunned. Han Tong was only a helper in charge of guarding the nest. The Shui family was the leader in capturing Su Yin. When they captured Su Yin alive, he would naturally fall into the hands of Shui Guan. It would have nothing to do with Han Tong. One had to know that Shui Guan was killed by Su Yin. It would be strange if Shui Guan could swallow this anger. "Come and lead the way." Han Tong's voice carried an irresistible majesty. His voice was like thunder, like the stars in outer space falling to the earth. Especially his pupils. It was like a deep sea of stars rising and falling. The Shui family cultivator who reported the news couldn't look straight at Han Tong. Under Han Tong's gaze, he trembled with fear. His primordial spirit felt like it was about to collapse. At this moment, He didn't dare to defy Han Tong's will. He led the way. The surrounding people gasped. Han Tong's sudden toughness shocked them. However, when they thought about his identity, they couldn't help but say, Han Tong is the eldest senior brother of the Big Dipper lineage. Even Mizar Juzi and the others have to call him senior brother. The Big Dipper lineage is a superpower from ancient times. The eldest senior brother of this lineage is called the Saint Child. It's only right. That's right. Now that Han Tong suddenly erupted, it seems like his foundation is shocking. Is he preparing to rise up? There were many discussions here. A large group of cultivators followed to watch. Someone said with a firm tone, "It seems like Han Tong has been holding back all this time. Now that he's suddenly erupted, he is absolutely confident in suppressing the Big Dipper prodigy and securing his position as the eldest senior brother. It seems like Han Tong is stronger than Mizar Juzi and the others." The scene displayed by the cosmic edge attracted the attention of all the experts. After all, Han Tong was a senior brother of the older generation. If he couldn't display his strength, it was only a matter of time before he stepped down. Even Han Jin couldn't say anything about it. Right now, the True Dragon Lair was bustling with activity. There were too many cultivators searching for treasures. Unfortunately, there were too few treasures in the True Dragon Lair. Many cultivators were disappointed. Who's in front of us? How imposing. Someone saw that the entrance to the True Dragon Lair was filled with divine might. Han Tong walked with the gait of dragons and tigers. He was like the king of the Big Dipper. His entire body emitted wave after wave of vast starry sky, fluctuations that filled the sky. It was as if he wanted to sweep through the entire True Dragon Lair. Han Tong has charged in, saying that he wants to take Su Yan's head. Someone exclaimed, even Great Child Yao Guang was suppressed by Su Yan. Could it be that Su Yan is stronger than Great Child Yao Guang? Or perhaps, as the eldest senior brother of the Big Dipper clan, Han Tong has been silently enduring all this time? I don't know. After all, Han Tong is a young genius of the older generation. He probably has a shocking foundation. The outer regions of the True Dragon Lair were abuzz with discussions. Everyone saw Han Tong with his hands behind his back. The Milky Way diagram appeared behind him with the sun, moon, and stars engraved on it. His might was truly extraordinary. His speed was too fast. He was about to reach the entrance of the Blood Mountain. This was even more shocking. Han Tong's battle prowess was suppressed here, but Su Yan was at his peak state. Could Han Tong really be so terrifying that he could ignore the pressure and suppress Su Yan? Han Tong is really full of confidence. He's charging straight ahead without looking back. More and more people rushed over to watch. Han Tong was about to reach the extreme Yin River. The people who were originally watching the battle met Han Tong. After a short exchange, Han Tong's face turned gloomy. Su Yan, you actually ran away? The disciples under Han Tong shouted angrily. He knows that eldest senior brother is here to capture him. He actually ran away in fear? Go back immediately and capture Su Yan. Han Tong was furious. His divine might shock the sun and moon. He turned around and rushed towards the entrance of the True Dragon Lair. He didn't want to be too late and see Su Yan's corpse lying outside the True Dragon Lair. This was an ending that Han Tong didn't want to see. Now that Su Yan's prestige was at its peak, if he could kill him, it would definitely strengthen his divine might. Now that the news of the battle between the two geniuses of the Big Dipper lineage had spread, some people speculated that it was very likely that a punitive expedition had already begun. However, the Shui family had paid a great price to set up layers of killing formations at the entrance of the True Dragon Lair to prevent Su Yan from leaving. Who knew that Han Tong would actually charge in and kill Su Yan first? This made the Shui family angry, but because of Han Tong, they couldn't say anything. Look, at this moment, there was an uproar at the entrance of the True Dragon Lair. Even the cultivators of the Shui family were dumbfounded. This was because Su Yan had come out and was standing at the entrance of the True Dragon Lair. At the entrance, Su Yan looked around at the dumbfounded crowd, which made him a little surprised. What was going on? Could it be that something had happened? He could even feel that there were dangers lurking around. There were at least a dozen killing formations. This was too much. Su Yin sneered in his heart. The Shui family really went to great lengths to kill me. They even brought out their trump cards. Do they really think they could trap me? What's going on? Why did Su Yin come out? The scene displayed by the cosmic horn caused Han Jin's expression to change. He said angrily, "The battle won't end in a short period of time." Su Yin must have dodged Han Tong's attack. Good for you, Su Yin. You'd rather die at the hands of the Shui family than help Han Tong. Su Yin, since you can't bear to die at Han Tong's hands, then leave it to us, the Shui family. At the entrance of the true dragon's lair, killing lights split the sky. A terrifying aura filled the air. A Shui family elder said calmly. He was in charge of the killing formation. He shouted coldly, "I'll give you two choices now. Come out and kneel here. Otherwise, you can go in and let our Shui Guan kill you." Han Tong escaped. Su Yin looked furious. He said, "I was just strolling around the dragon's lair and picking some great herbs. Is this Han Tong blind? Didn't he see me along the way? He still wants to kill me." Once he said this, everyone was dumbfounded. "Bastard!" Han Jin roared. His voice was so loud that it could be heard here. It was a bloody humiliation. Han Jin was so angry that he almost fainted. He shouted angrily, "Su Yin, if you have the ability, go in and fight with Han Tong." What kind of ability is it to talk so fast? However, no matter how loud his voice was, it couldn't be heard. "Su Yin, you truly won't shed a tear until you see the coffin." An elder from the Shui family angrily laughed. "What's the point of saying all this? I'll give you two paths. You better think carefully. Of course, both paths lead to death. Hee, both paths lead to death. I suggest you kneel here and accept your punishment. Who knows? Maybe Shui Guan will spare your little life on account of Fairy Beidou. A bunch of old fogies wait here. I'll go in and take Han Tong's head, then I'll come back to deal with you all." Su Yin suddenly disappeared into the void. The group of assassins who were heading towards Su Yan's location almost cursed out loud. "This brat is too slippery." He ran away as soon as he noticed something was wrong. No rush, no rush. So what if he's scared away? It's within our expectations. The elder from the Shui family was very calm and smiled. "Su Yin has no way out. We'll just wait here. Maybe it won't be long before Shui Guan comes back with Su Yan's head. We'll just preach here to intimidate Su Yin." That's right. I think I can see Su Yin dying in fear. If it wasn't for Su Yan's spatial bending, he would have been killed by our clan's champion. The true dragon's den is sealed. Spatial bending won't let him out. Let's just sit here and wait for Su Yan's head to roll out. There were too many cultivators from the Shui family. They had simply deployed all the elites in the family to seal the true dragon's lair from the inside out, not allowing Su Yin the slightest chance of escaping. Su Yin ran very fast. He didn't expect Han Tong to have the guts to barge in and kill him. After all, the true dragon's den suppressed their combat ability. If Han Tong was really outside, with his peak transcendence realm combat ability and his identity as the eldest senior brother of the Big Dipper clan, how could he kill him? It was extraordinarily difficult, but it was different inside the true dragon's den. This made Iron Rooster laugh. "I say, you're still in the mood to kill? Hurry up and run. I estimate that in less than 4 hours, the group of prodigies trapped in the ancient palace will come out. Then, you won't be able to protect yourself. What's there to be afraid of? You're going to die with me anyway," said Su Yin. "If you didn't steal my fortune, I wouldn't be in this situation now." Iron Rooster was furious. He glared at him with his bean-sized eyes and urged, "Hurry up and go. Find a place to hide. Let's wait for a while. If you want to leave, leave by yourself. I won't stop you," replied Su Yin. Iron Rooster was so angry that his face darkened. Now that the true dragon's den was sealed, no one could leave. Han Tong has returned. Has Su Yin already reached the entrance of the true dragon's den? There were too many onlookers who followed Han Tong back. They were very anxious and didn't want to miss this big battle. Whether it was a bloodbath in the Shui family's resource land, looting the auction, or even killing Shuelong. After a series of major events, Su Yan's reputation was not weak. They all wanted to see how Su Yan would end up. Han Tong is too fast. We can't keep up. A large group of cultivators chased after him. Han Tong was already very close to the cave that was sealed by the Blood Mountain. His entire body was filled with anger and killing intent as he said coldly, "Su Yin, you must live. Wait for your eldest senior brother to teach you what it means to be a true Big Dipper prodigy." Buzz. Starlight erupted from his body and radiated outwards, rippling with energy. It collided with the void with a loud bang, causing even the cave entrance to rumble. His cold eyes opened wide and divine light sputtered out. He was already half a step into the true dragon's den. He was somewhat anxious and didn't want to see Su Yan's corpse lying on the ground. "Ha! Virtuous nephew, I heard you were looking for me." It was at this time that a muffled sound of thunder exploded in the true dragon's den. As soon as these words were spoken, the crowd that was chasing Han Tong became restless. Wasn't this Su Yan's voice? "Su Yan, oh Su Yan, you really dare to come." Han Tong laughed loudly with his hands behind his back. He looked down at the world and said coldly, "It seems like you've been frightened by the Shui family's killing formation. Now you want to break out from here? Su Yan, you're finally willing to come back? Your eldest senior brother didn't come personally to bring you home in vain." Han Tong's group laughed as they saw a shadow descending from the sky. "Out of the way," Su Yin berated. He slapped out with his palm and sent all of Han Tong's subordinates flying. Chapter 291. Su Yan's aura surged like a bull. The essence blood beam that poured down from his body contained a dragon-shaped chi and blood beam. Golden splendor sprinkled down from the sky, drowning the cave entrance of the true dragon's lair. It could easily crush a mountain, causing Han Tong's subordinates to tremble and collapse, exploding into a bloody mist. But everyone who saw this scene was horrified. What was Su Yin doing? Could it be that he had counterattacked from the outside? "Su Yin, you're finally here." Han Tong's eyes were cold. The soles of his feet fiercely stomped on the ground, his aura awakening limitlessly. He was like a king among men bathed in the 9 heavens of the Milky Way. The divine might within him rose from the ground and filled the void. The moment Su Yin pushed the divine might over, it was shattered by the aura within Han Tong's body that had recovered. At this moment, Han Tong's divine might was awe-inspiring. His aura startled the sun and moon. His precious body was surrounded by starlight, and the divine might that emerged from his flesh was more exuberant with each layer. This was the embodiment of heaven and earth. Even with the suppression of the true dragon's lair, Han Tong was still exceptionally powerful. He looked down at Su Yin and smiled cruelly. "Come, let your senior brother give you some pointers. Have you made any progress in your cultivation these past few days? Since you're challenging me, why aren't you coming over?" Su Yin waved his hand at Han Tong and stepped into the true dragon's lair. His figure was tall and straight, and his black hair draped over his shoulders. He stood at the entrance of the true dragon's lair. "You think you're worthy?" Han Tong's eyes glared angrily. His eyeballs were like an ancient sea of stars, hiding the sun, moon, and stars. When his pupils widened, the sun, moon, and stars were revealed. It was as if 2 small worlds were awakening, bursting out with resplendent starlight. This is the heavenly eye of the starry sky. The surroundings were in an uproar. This was an extremely rare, great divine ability. Han Tong's eyes were like 2 condensed starry skies erupting. Once locked onto, it could easily suppress a powerful enemy. His heavenly eye was resplendent, and the sun, moon, and stars were suspended. When it erupted, it reflected 2 condensed starry skies. It was as if 2 large black holes had appeared and began to envelop Su Yin. Heaven and earth turned gloomy, and the void was constantly being destroyed. "Look, Su Yin has been subdued." The spectating cultivators were overwhelmed with emotions. They saw the divine energy of the 2 heavenly eyes combine into one, forming a small starry sky that enveloped Su Yin. They could faintly see that as the small starry sky rotated, Su Yin was about to be torn apart. "Su Yin, what do you have to fight me?" Han Tong shook his head and said indifferently, "If it weren't for the fact that I didn't want to bully you too much, I wouldn't have chosen to come to the true dragon lair. Han Tong is worthy of being called the eldest senior brother. He has a demeanor and bearing. He has been enduring silently all this time. But who would have thought that he would erupt at the critical moment and produce such a rare, great divine ability? Admittedly, Han Tong is bullying the weak, but in the true dragon lair, Su Yin has the advantage. The difference isn't that great. The spectators were all amazed. Those who didn't know Han Tong as a human would think that he was a great person. We are of the same lineage. Nephew, do you want to kill me so badly? Su Yin replied. You have already turned demonic. You have killed my Big Dipper lineage's disciples again and again. You even dare to subdue Yao Guang. The Big Dipper lineage will not allow a traitor like you to appear. Han Tong replied forcefully with determination. Even if the sect blames me, I will take responsibility. Ha! Nephew's ability to turn black into white is truly not small. Su Yin laughed angrily. After seeing their faces, he was truly furious. Su Yin, you are impudent. You keep calling me nephew. Now that you have been subdued, you still won't behave. A group of Han Tong's disciples rushed over. One of them laughed viciously. Eldest senior brother, you don't even need to do anything. We can capture him. That's right. Eldest senior brother, please wait a moment. We can subdue this evil creature. A group of Big Dipper lineage disciples rushed over, their eyes emitting malevolent, killing intent. They wanted to kill Su Yin immediately. Those who don't know better would think that you, Han Tong, are a noble person. Su Yin sneered. Su Yin, you still dare to slander our eldest senior brother when you are about to die. Kill him for me. The disciples who rushed over pulled out their killing swords and laughed viciously. They waved their swords at Su Yin, who was locked down by the starry sky eye. They wanted to kill him. Get out of my way. Su Yin's eyes suddenly widened. His aura was completely different. He was like a martial arts grandmaster. Blood essence beams drilled out of his pores and rose from the ground in an instant. They were like thousands of angry waves that rolled up the sky. It was a shocking scene. The small world created by the starry sky, I was bombarded full of holes by Su Yan's aura. Roar! Under the gazes of tens of thousands of people, Su Yan awakened. He was like a burning divine furnace. A true dragon soared from his spine, and its roar shattered the small world. Moreover, it caused the group of disciples who were charging towards him to shatter in fear. Oh my God! Many people exclaimed. They saw a dragon flying through the 9 heavens and dominating the world. The sky was filled with surging divine energy. The true dragon emerged from the void and soared through several miles. It was brimming with supreme dragon might as it roared at Han Tong. For a moment, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Murderous intent filled the sky. However, what made them tremble was that this was only the beginning. The true dragon's blood essence pillar that filled the void became stronger as it flew. It was like a divine king Li was pushing it toward Han Tong. Little Taoist, Han Tong said coldly. His treasure body was radiant, and the sound of scriptures was transmitted from his body. When the dormant Dharma aura in his body completely awakened, Han Tong seemed to have turned into a starry sky furnace. The moment he spat, thousands of layers of Dharma power pierced through the clouds and gathered in the void to form a giant starry sky chart. The starry sky chart was shocking enough. Huge stars hung inside one after another. 9 stars appeared in the starry sky chart, each brighter than the last. These were 9 stars in the universe. They burned so fiercely that it made people's eyes bleed. 9-star chart. Someone exclaimed in shock. This is the Big Dipper lineage's shocking Dharma idol. Condensing the 9-star atlas requires endless resources and foundations. Han Tong actually cultivated the 9-star atlas to the state of grand completion. How strong must his foundations be? The 9 stars rotated in the void. The aura they emitted intertwined and turned into a giant starry sky chart that covered more than 10 miles. Even the true dragon's secret technique seemed weak in front of the giant 9-star chart. Suppress. Han Tong was extremely domineering. He even had his hands behind his back, as if he was looking down on everything. The nine-star chart descended from the sky like the Milky Way. It was filled with a vast aura that covered the sky and suppressed the giant dragon-shaped pillar. Hantong waved one arm and stood with his hands behind his back. His hand pressed against the nine-star chart and suddenly pressed down. The dragon totem was distorted and deformed under the pressure. It was about to be destroyed under the nine-star chart. Some of the older generation frowned. Why couldn't they feel the power of Dharma? Could it be that Su Yin hadn't stepped into the Dharma plane yet? Thinking of this, they shuddered. How is this possible? Su Yin is finished. The prestige he accumulated over the years is going to help Han Tong. Some people felt sorry for him and felt that it wasn't worth it. Help my ass, some people were shocked. Suddenly, they saw a shadow emerge from the distorted dragon totem. When the initial sutra was activated, the body and life spring merged into one and the astral armor was activated. This caused Su Yan's body to surge with a terrifying blood essence aura. Boom! This divine power was too strong. It was about to penetrate the sea and come out from Su Yan's head. It opened the nine-star chart and pierced through the sky. Kill! Su Yan shouted. He didn't want to waste any more time. He rushed over, his body surging with divine light. He raised his hand, and flames appeared between his fingers. The true dragon's killing sound was sonorous. Suddenly, some people saw a true dragon soaring into the sky and stretching out its claws. A huge and golden dragon claw tore through all matter. Wrapped in shocking divine power, it forcefully crushed the star chart. The condensed stars were torn apart by the dragon claw. The dragon soared into the sky and crashed into the star chart. He swooped down. A blurry, chaotic sea rose behind him. It was filled with a prehistoric aura. How is this possible? How can the divine power in his body be so strong? Some old cultivators were shocked. It was as if they had seen a true dragon soaring into the sky. The sky was filled with waves of air. It was boundless and golden. Dong! Su Yin waved his peerless fist and smashed forward. His entire fist revealed the body of a true dragon, crushing the void layer by layer. Facing such a ferocious dragon-like body, Han Tong's expression became serious. His arm shone, interweaving with dense patterns. His entire arm was like a river of stars lying horizontally here, suffused with powerful defensive power. Han Tong brandished his arm to block Su Yan's fist. At the same time, his other hand reached out and displayed the power of the star-plucking hand to capture Su Yan. One had to admit that Han Tong was overconfident. One attacked, and one defended, trying to suppress Su Yan. Bang! A series of loud sounds exploded. Rumbling sounds followed in all directions. Horrifying waves surged and swept in all directions. The great earth began to shake. Everyone was shocked. The strength of the fist was too abnormal. It struck Han Tong's entire arm until it cracked and was about to shatter. Ah! Han Tong roared angrily. He endured the pain and activated the star-plucking hand. It enveloped Su Yin and attacked him. What made people's faces turn green was that this palm landed solidly on Su Yan's back. However, there was only a sonorous sound. Su Yan's body was like a piece of divine iron. Han Tong's strength only made his body tremble. Han Tong didn't believe that Su Yan's body was so sturdy. Even with the starry sky armor, it couldn't block all of his attacks. Bang! Su Yan swept his leg forward like a true dragon, swinging its tail. Moreover, he secretly used the earth-shrinking technique. No matter how fast Han Tong retreated, he couldn't dodge this kick from Su Yan. Han Tong was sent flying by this kick. He coughed up blood as if he had been smashed by an angry dragon. His hair was disheveled, and his eyes were red. He had suffered a great loss. He had underestimated Su Yan. Nephew, can you still do it? Su Yan rushed over, his body rippling with killing intent. I have my own methods to kill you. Chapter 292. Cut the crap. Su Yan pounced forward as the dragon totem behind him appeared. It contained a majestic aura of a true dragon as it rushed towards Han Tong. Han Tong shouted angrily as he pushed his combat strength to meet the attack. He did not believe that he could not even suppress a small cultivator of the past. Boom! They clashed together. At the moment of impact, energy ripples swept out in all directions. Sounds of killing and collisions filled the air. Everyone was shocked by Su Yan's strength. It had only been a few years, but he had become so strong. The divine power in his body was so exuberant that it made one's hair stand on end. Punk! Su Yan's fist landed on Han Tong's chest, breaking his sternum. Han Tong spat out a mouthful of blood. He felt as if his heart was about to collapse from Su Yan's attack. However, Han Tong's palm also landed on Su Yan's shoulder with a loud bang. Han Tong's face turned green. Su Yan's body was too tough. Even an aspect divine weapon would not be able to threaten his body. This was enough to show how tough his body was. Su Yan's body floated with scriptures. The beginning sutra was circulating in his body. His entire body glowed as his life, spring, and body merged. The divine power in his body vibrated. Combined with the power of the astral armor, he suppressed Han Tong to the point that he could not even lift his head. However, some people felt that something was wrong. Han Tong was very calm and did not have the slightest intention of retreating. Some people suspected that Han Tong was doing this on purpose to stall for time. Something's not right. An old cultivator's pupils suddenly shrank as he discovered a terrifying and ominous glint emerging from Han Tong's body. Especially on the surface of his body, there were some faintly growing silver-white scales, as if they were cast from the divine materials of the starry sky. Look, many people exclaimed. Han Tong's entire body was covered with a layer of silver scales. Roar! Strands of ferocious aura surged out from his body, forcefully collapsing the void. At this moment, Han Tong seemed to have turned into a silver beast. His entire body emitted clanging sounds as if he was a silver dragon. Su Yan, give me your life. Han Tong let out a ferocious roar. He seemed to have turned into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Apart from his head, his entire body had undergone a shocking transformation. He even grew a huge tail that flashed with a soul-stirring silver light. What kind of secret technique is this? Is Han Tong not a human cultivator? All the cultivators who saw this scene were stunned. Everyone could feel the extremely violent energy surging out of Han Tong's body. With a loud bang, it struck out with unstoppable force. Su Yan's entire body trembled as he took several steps back. Even with his powerful treasured body, it was difficult for him to withstand the impact. It's the Tyrannosaurus. One of the old cultivators exclaimed, "That's the tyrant dragon technique of the Big Dipper clan. It's a forbidden technique. Once it's used, it takes a huge toll on the human body. However, it allows one to fight above their level." How did Han Tong cultivate this secret technique? Tyrant dragon art is too harmful to the body. Su Yan, you want to fight me? You're not good enough. Han Tong let out a sinister laugh. A ferocious aura surged from his body. The silver scales that covered his body emitted clanging sounds. His huge silver tail swung about, emitting a terrifying fluctuation that wanted to shatter this world. Give me your life. The violent strength made Han Tong let out a sinister laugh. His aura was too violent. His body could be said to be invincible. He slashed out with a destructive force that smashed towards Su Yan. You're neither human nor ghost. What kind of secret technique is this? Su Yan coldly said. Although Han Tong's combat strength had increased by a large margin, this secret technique was too harmful to the human body. It even consumed a person's lifespan. If Han Tong wasn't in a hurry to kill Su Yan, he wouldn't have used the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's a peerless secret technique that can kill you. I've already paid the price. Now, it's time for you, Su Yan, to pay with your life. Han Tong coldly said. He had already rushed to Su Yan's side, wanting to fight him in close combat. The entire area was covered by a silver light. The spectators couldn't help but tremble. Han Tong raised his fist, which contained a destructive, ferocious aura. He wanted to kill Su Yan here with a punch. What is he doing? The old cultivator paled. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. No matter how terrifying Su Yan's body is, it can't block the power of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Someone saw Su Yan raise his arm, his palm forming a fist seal, and fiercely smashing towards Han Tong to meet the attack head-on. You want to die? I'll fulfill your wish. Han Tong smiled. The flames on his fist were terrifying. It was like a burning furnace containing the power of the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The void exploded as he rushed towards Su Yan. He wanted to kill him here with a punch. You think too highly of yourself. Su Yan's eyes flashed with coldness. This confident expression made Han Tong's heart skip a beat. He had a bad premonition. Su Yan's fist indeed looked weaker than Han Tong's. However, the moment he pushed the divine treasures out of his precious body, the expressions of the surrounding people changed. They seemed to see a young divine king awakening, carrying a primordial true dragon on his back. A terrifying fluctuation was released from Su Yan's body. His four limbs were about to push open the universe and transform into the four extremes of the universe. The moment the indistinct primordial light pierced through Su Yan's fist, the power emitted from Su Yan's entire body rapidly soared. This was the purest primordial power, the most fundamental power of the human body. Once it erupted, it would be terrifying and overflowing. Kill! Su Yan roared. He raised his fist and smashed down, boundlessly domineering. Su Yan's fist rapidly enlarged, as if it had turned into a primordial fist. It spat out a hair-raising force as it rumbled over. It was like the wheels of an ancient chariot crushing the void and striking the ground with a clap of thunder. This fist caused a great earthquake. The heaven and earth rumbled with a soul-stirring sound. Kacha! Han Tong's entire body was about to cave in. He was unable to withstand Su Yan's power. This was the most basic divine power of the human body. Su Yan's power blasted Han Tong away. Half of his body was caving in and large patches of scales were ripped off. Han Tong let out a mournful cry. There was even a trace of despair in his voice. How could this be? He had already activated the Tyrant Dragon art. Why couldn't he defeat Su Yan? Bang! Su Yan's expression was cold. He rushed up once again and kicked Han Tong into the sky. The Tyrant Dragon's physique was distorted and on the verge of collapse. If he didn't have the Tyrant Dragon art, this kick would have been enough to kill him. Run! Han Tong didn't hesitate. If he didn't leave, he would die. There was no chance of survival. You won't be able to escape. Su Yan used the earth-shrinking technique to cross over. He raised his fist once again and punched at Han Tong. Chi! Just as his fist approached, Han Tong suddenly pulled out an ancient sword embryo. The moment it recovered, it spat out a vast expanse of white sword light. It furiously slashed at Su Yan. Not good. Su Yan's expression changed slightly. He instantly retreated and dodged the sword embryo's attack in layers of the void. Kill! Han Tong once again brandished the ancient sword embryo. The moment the sword body trembled, the sword light blazed several times more fiercely. It was like a river of stars exploding and a mountain flood bursting through a dam. The entire sky was filled with sword light. This sword was formed by the convergence of the power of the galaxy. Even the stars of the universe were manifested within the sword light. The airflow that leaked out was truly terrifying. Su Yan dodged, but the group of cultivators watching from afar screamed incessantly. Some of them were even hacked to death. That's the 9-star sword, someone said in shock. It should be the sword of a big shot from the Big Dipper lineage. It's a type of ancient treasure. I didn't expect Han Tong to have such a trump card. Su Yan, count yourself lucky this time. I'll definitely kill you. Han Tong turned around and left. He had used too much energy just now. If he continued to use the ancient sword's power, he would soon be exhausted. Su Yan disappeared into the void. His eyes stared at Han Tong. To be more precise, he stared at the 9-star sword. This treasure was a type of offensive killing weapon. He really needed this sword embryo. Han Tong fled at lightning speed. He knew that Su Yan had mastered the earth-shrinking technique. He had to rush out as soon as possible. The guards outside the true dragon's nest were getting anxious. Some Schweff family cultivators couldn't help but rush in, wanting to scout for information. Su Yan chased after Han Tong. He had been tailing him all this time. What kind of creature is that? Neither human nor ghost. A Schweff family cultivator found Han Tong drenched in blood. He was rushing in their direction. Scram! Han Tong was so angry that his face turned purple. He let out an angry roar, causing this Schweff family cultivator to explode into pieces. Han Tong was so angry that his heart and lungs were trembling. He would definitely lose face if he ran out. However, he had no other choice. If he stayed here, what awaited him would definitely be death. Su Yan's eyes turned. He activated the 9 transformations and turned into the appearance of this Schweff family cultivator. Su Yan's expression was focused. His speed suddenly increased. He jumped in the void, using the earth shrinking technique. When he erupted to the extreme, he crossed hundreds of li in an instant. It was a very terrifying appearance. Su Yan overtook Han Tong and rushed outside. Too cunning. Even the miser couldn't stand it anymore. Su Yan rushed out and ran to the outside of the true dragon's lair. As soon as he came out, a group of people looked at Su Yan from afar. Su Yan, an elder of the Schweff family, hurriedly said, "Grandson of Schwe Yi, how's the situation?" Damn it. Su Yan wanted to kick him to death. When he saw a mirror shining over to see Su Yan's true appearance, he hurriedly screamed, "Quick, get ready." Su Yan ran out and joined forces with 3 peak transcendence realm cultivators. They're already here. Activate the killing formation immediately and kill him. I knew it. Su Yan definitely has helpers. This is good too. Let's kill them all. An elder of the Schwe family laughed loudly. Outside the true dragon's nest, in the giant underground tunnel, more than 10 killing formations were activated. Each of these killing formations was more valuable than the last. Each of them was surrounded by killing light that shot into the sky. This place had become a dangerous place. More than 10 killing formations were activated. They were blazing and terrifying, bright and resplendent, burning the heavens. When the killing formations were activated, Han Tong had already rushed out. The killing light surged like an ocean and roared fiercely. Who activated the killing formation? Han Tong's expression changed drastically. There were even killing formations that he had taken out here. Now, they were activated and attacking him. He hurriedly retreated. If he was caught in it, he would definitely be heavily injured. Get in. Just as Han Tong turned his head, a fist came at him. It smashed Han Tong's nose and caused him to sob in pain. He flew back into the killing formation. I'll teach you how to use the killing formation. Chapter 293. One of the killing arrays was like the opening of an ancient world of swords. Killing swords emerged from the array one after another. Each killing sword was surrounded by killing energy as they slashed towards the creatures that entered the array. This wasn't just one killing array. There were more than a dozen killing arrays. Each killing array had a different form. In short, these killing arrays were all very valuable. Now that they were placed here and activated, one could imagine how shocking it would be. Boom! Killing light swept across the sky and shook the heavens. It was so terrifying that it made one's heart tremble. The ancient cave entrance of the true dragon's lair was completely submerged by the killing arrays. This scene was very spectacular and seemed to be able to kill geniuses. Bastard! Han Tong roared angrily. He was punched in, and he didn't need to think to know that it was Su Yan. There were more than a dozen killing arrays activated. His body was about to be torn apart in a single exchange. The dense silver scales on his body were cut open, and blood flowed down. Boom! Han Tong exploded. The power of the tyrant dragon art increased by a notch. Because he had lost the support of the true dragon's lair, Han Tong's combat strength was naturally stronger. The aura of a peak transcendence realm expert was suddenly released, and he was about to break through the killing waves. What kind of monster is this? Su Yan's reckless helpers have been mixed in. They're enough to kill him. Something that's neither human nor ghost. Haha, but his combat strength is really strong. Killing this person is enough to make the faction behind him feel heartache. One by one, the Schwe family disciples laughed. They were very excited. Now that one of them had been trapped, would Su Yan's group be far away? The Shui family disciples were very confident. Now that the killing arrays had cut off Su Yan's escape route, they believed that Su Yan's end had come. The curses from the killing arrays made Han Tong explode in anger. His eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. The sky was filled with killing light, and the pressure made his body tremble. He roared, "You bastards, I'm Han Tong." The moment he said this, the surroundings fell silent. The scene projected by the cosmic horn made Han Jin's old face almost distort. He clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. "You blind thing, can't you see that it's Han Tong? Tyrant Dragon Technique." Xiao Wen and the others had cold expressions on their faces as they shook their heads. Han Tong had even used the Tyrant Dragon art. Even such a self-harming technique had failed to bring Su Yan out. From this, it could be seen that Han Tong's ambitions had already been trampled on. Star Element stroked his beard and didn't say anything. His eyes stared unblinkingly at Su Yan through the corner of space. Is this person a genius from the burial realm? Star Element thought to himself. Just looking at him makes me wonder. In the true Dragon Nest region, the spectators were all dumbfounded. Han Tong had barged in. So did that mean he had lost? Quick, withdraw the great killing formation immediately. An old cultivator under Han Tong's command glared and said furiously, "Hurry up and retract the killing array. This is our Big Dipper clan's secret technique, the hegemonic dragon technique." He is Han Tong. What? He really is Han Tong. The group of Shui family cultivators controlling the killing array felt a headache coming on. They almost cursed out loud. How'd Han Tong get in here? Was there something wrong with his brain? It had to be known that once these great killing formations were activated, they would consume a great deal of energy. They could only curse in their hearts before hurriedly deactivating these great killing formations. The Shui family cultivators had gloomy expressions. It seemed Han Tong had failed. They recalled his overflowing momentum from before. It was as if he wanted to capture Su Yan. They mocked him in their hearts. The hidden gazes from all around made Han Tong wish he could find a hole to crawl into. This was too shameful. His face was ferocious, and his entire body was covered in blood. His injuries were severe, and he was still holding the 9-star sword. This was a disgrace, a true disgrace. Just as Han Tong's face was gloomy, and he was about to head to a safe area to recuperate, a chill ran down his spine. All the hairs on his body stood up, and a trace of fear rose in his heart. Boom! A terrifying strength suddenly erupted. From a void behind Han Tong, a large hand suddenly stretched out and turned into a terrifying dragon claw. The dragon claw swept across the sky, its ominous aura covering the sun. The moment it swept across, the ferocious aura of a primordial beast surged over. It made Han Tong's body feel like it was about to be torn apart by the dragon claw. This claw was too shocking. Su Yan took advantage of Han Tong's unpreparedness to strike at lightning speed and ruthlessly slashed at him. Han Tong's scalp exploded. He instantly shifted his position to dodge the true dragon claw. However, this was a great magical power after all. It was like a giant claw had slashed over. Even though Han Tong had avoided being hit in his vitals, he was still struck by Su Yan's claw until his entire body trembled. Large patches of silver scales were torn off. Han Tong coughed out a mouthful of blood and flew out before crashing to the ground. Who is it? The surrounding cultivators were alarmed. Han Tong's head had almost been taken off just now. Just as they were looking into the distance, they saw a shadow emerge from the void. It was as fast as lightning as it took out the stellar pagoda. The 10-story pagoda was surrounded by exuberant divine might as it smashed over like a sea of stars. Clang! Clang! Han Tong crawled up and brandished the 9-star sword to block. The two great artifacts collided, causing a deafening sound to ring out in the area. Vast energy ripples surged out. Kill! Su Yan swooped down. He activated the stellar armor, and his divine power pierced through the heavens. It's Su Yan. The cultivators gathered nearby were all furious. What kind of place was this? The killing array area was filled with danger, and there was a Shui family elder overseeing it. However, Su Yan dared to come out and attack Han Tong. The moment the two great heavenly weapons collided, Su Yin and Han Tong began to fight. "Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Han Tong's eyes were red. Without the suppression of the true dragon lair, Han Tong was already standing at his peak state. How could he still be afraid of Su Yin? Under the shocked gazes of the surrounding cultivators, the two Big Dipper prodigies collided here. Fist after fist, they smashed each other. Every time they collided, divine light rippled out like angry waves. With each collision, Su Yan's aura blazed even more fiercely. He was like an ancient divine mountain that had shed its rust. His entire body was suffused with the most powerful and most tyrannical fluctuations. His might shook the heavens, and he suppressed the power of the tyrant dragon technique in one move. "Kill!" Su Yan roared. Under the state of the tyrant body technique, he was incomparably fierce. With this punch, there was a huge celestial body in the sky. The fist light that pierced through the void was overbearing and shocking. It solidly smashed on a Han Tong's fist, causing his whole body to tremble violently. His entire fist cracked, and his arm was broken into two. True Dragon's secret technique. Su Yan rushed over fiercely again. A true dragon flew out from the divine ability's giant door and swooped down following Su Yan's fist. His punch caused the heaven and earth to tremble violently. The clouds in the sky collapsed, and the fist's momentum pierced through the clouds. "Ah!" Han Tong cried out miserably. His flesh was lacerated, and his tyrant dragon technique was completely destroyed. He returned to his original form and was sent flying backward like a dead dog. He fell to the ground and trembled, letting out mournful cries. The universe masters who were watching the battle in Space Corner were all stunned. Su Yan's combat power had increased tremendously with the combination of the tyrant body technique and the tyrant body technique. Standing in such a domain, he was able to beat Han Tong until he couldn't even raise his head. "Su Yan!" Han Tong let out a hysterical cry. Then he saw Su Yan rushing over once again with an even more ferocious aura. This time, he was going to kill him. Activate the killing arrays. Charge forward and suppress Su Yan. The entrance of a true dragon's nest was noisy. All kinds of voices could be heard. Among them, the voice of a black-robed elder was the loudest. With a command, more than 10 killing arrays were activated. Terrifying light gushed out, causing the sky to change color. "How dare you!" Han Tong's group of subordinates was so angry that they were about to vomit blood. Han Tong was still in the killing arrays. Once they were activated, Han Tong would definitely be severely injured. But it was already too late to stop them. The sky was filled with killing intent. It was as if the Milky Way from the 9 heavens was pouring down. The moment it landed on the ground, it evolved into all kinds of great killing weapons. They all charged toward Su Yan's location. The void was distorted and destroyed. The living beings in the vicinity were all trembling. Even the Transcendence Realm cultivators were terrified. If they were inside, they would be torn into pieces in a single move. Su Yan is finished. Someone said. The Schweff family had paid a huge price to set up more than 10 killing arrays and set them up here. They said that they wanted to let Su Yan have a taste of what it was like to be trapped and killed by the killing arrays. Moreover, secret treasures emerged from the killing arrays and appeared in front of Han Jin. Instantly, they blocked the destructive power that was surging toward him from all directions. This scene made Han Tong's subordinates feel relieved. They were really afraid that the killing arrays would activate and turn Han Tong into ashes. Shock him to death. Han Tong cried out miserably. Although his injuries were serious, Han Tong didn't care. Today he had lost too much face. However, the elders of the various clans who were sitting cross-legged outside the Star Tomb were all shocked. This was a boundless killing intent spreading out. Star Element was like a golden divine lion. His entire body flowed with killing intent that was as deep as the sea. The older generation of the Schweff family felt a headache coming on. Star Element was currently overseeing this place. If they killed Su Yan in this situation, how could Star Element let them off so easily? But the killing sword had already left its sheath. There was no turning back. The Schweff family had believed that killing Su Yan would enrage Star Element. This was a very profitable transaction. Su Yan's potential shocked them. They couldn't allow him to continue growing. Boom! The dome of the sky was about to shatter. More than 10 killing arrays surged into the sky. They spat out rivers of killing intent that surged forward. The entire killing array space was submerged. Some people even saw that Su Yan had completely disappeared. Su Yan is about to be turned into ashes. The Schweff family cultivators laughed. Su Yan, oh Su Yan, we will let you have a taste of what it feels like to be killed by a killing array. Boom! Suddenly, wave after wave of energy that could change the situation of the battle quietly awakened. The expressions of the spectators suddenly stiffened. They saw countless killing intents twisting and turning. Along with the topography of the land, they even intersected and converged. For a time, it was as if a giant pillar of energy was being born here. It was like a giant mountain that reached the heavens as it rotated within the killing array space. Everyone look! Someone's voice trembled, because they saw the energy of more than 10 killing arrays converging above Su Yan's head. It turned into a giant fountain that filled the air with light that shot into the heavens. Earth overturning seal. Su Yan faced the sky and roared. His hair danced in the wind. His hands pushed the topography of the land and evolved the earth overturning seal. All the killing intents converged above his head and were pushed by him. It was as if an angry war god was about to erupt. No! In front of this energy, a group of cultivators that rushed towards Su Yan exploded into pieces. Especially Han Tong. His legs were trembling because this energy was directed at him. Before the godly energy could reach him, the secret treasures floating above his head were already shattered into pieces. Han Tong was terrified. With over a dozen great killing formations combined into one, he would be killed here in a single move. Boom!